Hello, this is Tradespotting. I am Jamie. And I am very annoyed. But it's Friday, so I'm also cheerful. Today we're going to take a look at GME AMC MIDA and SAVA. If you'd like me to look at anything else, I may do that. I have yet to decide. Thank you for everybody who's tuning in. Please click like for the good of the channel. It would be very much appreciated. If you're watching later, please also click like. While I won't see it straight away, I will see it later and appreciate it. I have my cup of tea. I hope you got yours. Price of GME is currently 160.11. Will either go up or down from here, which is hopefully not news to anybody. Potentially could also go sideways, but this is our previous resistance. We're here or thereabouts again. It's also confluent with this area of the breakout before all of the recent highs in price action. So it's a significant area. That's a 4-hour time frame, so you can see that it's significant. There's a daily time frame, and you can see we're currently at our body close. Volume is typically low. RSI is not giving us anything in particular to look at. If prices go up, then you may have a touch of Class B bullish divergence, but nothing significant. You can see that if we were to turn up, we would have gone down this most recent low on the daily time frame on lower momentum to the downside than we did in our most recent low, at which point you might think that that trend doesn't have legs, though it may keep going. Tradespotting, check out Adam Aram's tweets, very concerning for the AMC folk. I shall check out Twitter presently. So that's a brief overview of GME, where we're at the minute. Obviously it's resistance above us on the daily time frame. You can see that you've got the 250 period moving average coming in around 207, and you've got the 200 period down at 121, and that's the daily time frame, so a test of that would be considered relevant. You could also draw this line, say perhaps we're in and out of something there. Take it further back. Let's remove these Fibonacci's and just do a very brief high level overview of things, and then move on to looking at other things in more detail and come back to this for some more concerted effort. We'll make these things smaller. I've already looked at all of those, so we don't really need them right now. And I shall get onto Twitter in a minute. Today, might say is the first day you would say that you're outside this triangle. You might say that. It's daily time frame. Obviously you can draw these things however you see fit. Putting a line through all of this is, up to you where you take it from. On 2-day, 3-day, similar situation. Weekly though, you see the body close makes it slightly more significant, so we'll put it in there. Whoops a daisy. And we'll draw from the top down. Whoops a daisy. I'll take this up of that one. Say, what does that look like? Well, it looks like a bit of a messy pennant. Or alternatively, you could do what I think is like more relevant and draw something like this. Now, as you can see on this time frame, on the weekly, you're not really outside that shape. As rough as you might want to draw it, you're really not outside of it. 2-day time frame, sure, you might be looking like an open and close. We'll see how that goes. Doesn't seem to have the momentum to be breaking anything, but we'll see. This further push down on the RSI is confluent. So there's lots of different ways of looking at this, right? Broad picture still seems very much to me like it might test one of these two top lines. But you could also draw something like this on it, which probably goes through all the time frames as well. If we drop down, and it's either a channel or, as we've seen before, these things commonly turn into wedges. So you could look at it on 2-day or daily and say, perhaps that's like X, Y, and Z. Look at it on hourly. There's too many drawings. Oh, maybe that's a channel, and then within that, on the 15-minute time frame, you might say this is perhaps some sort of fallen wedge. So that would be more drawings. That'd be the top line. It's tough to get anything on this. You could see right outside the bottom of it there. Got 2, then that would have been your third touch, but that again doesn't look particularly accurate. You'd be taking something like this to represent the very, very near term recent psychology. Perhaps it's not even that. Maybe it's like something like this. Ugh. And if you really love your patterns, then maybe you enjoyed that part of the show. What's likely to happen from them? Well, you could get some small move, say, by the end of the day. Takes us back inside this overall formation, puts us up around 166 spot 50 or abouts. May well be what happens, and then you're coming in testing this level of lower resistance. That wouldn't really be much of an achievement. Breaking above the top side of it, where you've had 3 body closes, would be better, and that's up at 172. So there's targets above you. You can see in the smaller term time frames where you're doing all these patterns, you've also got 50 period moving average coming in like 60% off that move out of this wedge. So you could just be stalling around 165 and change before trying something higher or retesting this wedge type of thing. At which point, if you were able to get any success, it would be very surprising to see prices reach above 172 on the near term. Very surprising. So it would not to say it isn't possible, and not to say that it is happening, and not to say that any of this is financial advice. But that's how you might do that sort of thing, right? And like, I wouldn't normally do that to you. You'll have been tuning in here before. You'll have probably not seen me go through patterns like that in that kind of sense anyway. So that's just an overview of that, right? And then let's look at AMC briefly. Starting on the smaller term time frames. Similar sort of thing. You've got obvious like demand line, obvious supply line. It's hard to define what direction you came into this pattern on the lower term time frames. It is a pattern on the lower term time frame. Sure, that's perhaps some sort of triangle, and is this an inverted head and shoulders? Hard to say that part of it. Possibly. At which point, you're still looking to break this side. Might be a horizontal. More likely it comes in at around $40. Opening closes above $40, and you'd obviously be looking at moves straight up to 46.5. That would be a quick jump, and then you'd have little areas of resistance in a zone there from 46 up to 50, and that would be your sort of target on this. If a positive cascade came from breaking from this sort of open, it looks like some sort of positive triangle if you consider this as a bullish entry to it, and you can see if you broke out of it, you'd immediately break one of the horizontals, which are important. And if it was part of an overall inverted head and shoulders, and you were to get above this level again, it would take you straight up to the previous resistance, and then the move of this whole recovery that you're looking at might be might in retrospect look something like, I'm doing all this in the 15 minutes, so bear with me. Go up higher. As you can see there, also still above the 236. Yeah, and if you were to making it above this previous level of resistance, you'd be nearly covering your 0.5 retracement, and having put in such a positive move of 236, you might see this break up beyond that $50 and test higher in around these levels. somewhere between 52 and 55 might be where you get a little bit of an extension and a blow off pit of that blow off top there, and it retraced down to something somewhere between 50 and the high 40s, or even the low 40s. Some sort of retest having broke out this period of consolidation, which is very much what this looks like to me. This looks like a period of consolidation with higher lows, lower highs. The fact that you're looking at it on a 15-minute time frame doesn't give you a lot to go on, because as soon as you go up to the hourly, you can see this was a bearish entry into this. It's not really an inverted in shoulders, though there was a tweezer recovery. That has gone back down to below the 236 of the, well, that's your ultimate move. If everything goes against you down at 25, that'd be a nice entry, but let's take that off. Let's take these off. Let's take this one off too. I'll leave it just that one on it, and you can see if you were to get above that level, it would be perfectly natural to expect some sort of retest of this thing, even if beforehand you had some sort of extension. And to get above any of these levels here, that would take something more than just a positive move out of this. So I would expect to see some form of volatility in a range between 55 and 40, or high 40s, let's see. So that would be your AMC. Looking at it like that, probably you're coming up to it, you're like, it's just that two debating stories what after another. As soon as you get to the 4 hour, it's no longer that overall picture changes, and you can see this is perhaps some sort of flag with like lower highs, lower lows. After that move, this very much looks like a bull flag to me. I mean, I've been saying it though since the first interview I did on Jackson Hunter's channel, and since then people have given me pilters saying it's not a bull flag, and it's the X, Y, and Z, and then it's something else, and then it's the next thing. It's like, nah, mate, it's still a bull flag. So it's a pretty damn obvious one if you ask me. And then on the daily time frame, you're also looking at something similar where you can see, hey, maybe that does keep going, and there's an extension of it if this is ultimately some sort of descending triangle at this leg of this part of the flag, and you continue on with these lower lows. Something like this area breaks, it may well be that you get a move in line with that. Demand line prices do come in around here, and the measured move, say if it was this breakdown from a previous move, it would take you in and around those 25 levels, and if you were to break this area here, it's similar, you'd take it to, let's see, it was something like, it would have to actually be an extension of a channel or something. You wouldn't draw a measured move off that sort of thing. But the previous one perhaps, and it could have that there, and you also got like, that would be confluent with this retest of this part of the flagpole, which again, totally typical of a bull flag, is that would where it be its lowest touch. Anywhere on this wick and gap being filled now, it means that could be like a volatile jump, and you've got lots of encouragement at the most recent low in the RSI. Obviously you've had like a lot of momentum to the downside, which hasn't really been reflected in the price. Obviously it's still massively higher than it was over here, and well, there's your last low momentum. Price is like way higher, and you've had much more pushing on it, so that's very positive. Like it's hard to discount all those positive factors about AMC. So that's that sort of up the time frames on AMC. We're also going to look at MIDA for somebody, because apparently that was interesting. John, where have I got it on the chart? Surely. Market closed. RSI on the daily time frame right down here. Very low. Very low. Last time was 2nd of April last year. That was the big, oh, everyone knows about that. Momentum strong. Previously divergent now. It's very extended with regards to the MACD and signal line. Touches of bullishness about that. Also significantly bullishly divergent, because this is an uptrend. So on the bottom side of it, you can see here that there's been much more people pushing, and they've not managed to get the price lower. And some people call that hidden bullish divergence. Other people might call it convergence. And what it speaks to is prices going up again. On the top side, you had 1, 2, 3 touches of bearishness, so you could see that this would come down. You've sunk below the 200 period moving average, so you'd have a proper test of trend. You've had an open and so far a close, and well, included in that now is a close. And so this is also, though, is a doji, so you're going to have to discount that open close. You might say, well, now it'll try higher the areas for it to get above. First up on the daily time frame are spot 55 cents. Above that, you're looking at 60. Until you break those areas, nothing significant would have happened. I'd have expected some sort of retrace at that point. You'll be touching the 50 period moving average, having dropped below the 200. It would be unlikely you break above this without some sort of retest of this zone. Let's drop down to the 4 hour and say you've got a death cross coming in. It's also likely you test that. At least one of these two moving averages are likely going to be test. That could happen in around again at that 60 level we're at the minute. That might be the top side of this move until, like I say, you see some sort of a retrace and you get flux over a period of time, and then another short period of consolidation, should it not just blast right through, which I'd like to see, but after 3 touches of divergence on this move, it's actually more likely you come up and these sort of areas, even on something very, very strong. So you've got 1, 2, 3, and then the breakdown here 4, and then this other area 5, and ultimately that one's a real concrete test. To see you break above that without having tested any of these things, like, that's a ridiculous suggestion. So I'd play it by ear with this one. I'd also think, like, this is suspicious, having had 3 touches on the top side and then a frail touch here. If it doesn't capture these levels, I'd be suspicious of it, and then obviously you draw something like that over the top and say, is this rolling over? You know, this is a lower low than back here, and obviously than back here, and this is a significant level. So even getting above there, you know, you have broken it, and as we saw in the daily time frame, that was just below the 200. So we'll see it's in flux. Dropping out of the 1 hour, I don't really like to spend much of my time. You can see this area where we're at the minute is also important from previous wick low, and where we recovered from this previous dip and test of the moving average cross, but it's an hour, so I don't put much faith in that either. We'll go down to 15 minutes, 30 minutes and look at these things. Looks like the negative trend is in ascendancy. The ADX has managed to sustain quite a strong high position while your DI minus is overtaking it. You have recovered here and put in bullishness on your RSI, and you've done similar on your MACD. It's had no real effect on the price yet, though. Pardon me for that drawing. But then that would be hard to see, because really this thing looks to have like very little volume at all. Let's just check this, see what it's like. Well, there's lots of times where this is not a very liquid market. Out of character for it over the long time, really, over the last year, and since April it's quite out of character, but then it's in a consistent trend with what it's been like for the last, at least the last 3 or how many weeks is that? 2 or 3 weeks at least, yes. So no real change happening here yet, but could be a chance for it to test up. I just would be slightly suspicious of it. And if we drop down to the 15-minute time frame, yeah, you're held by that 50 period moving average. You've got a terrible downtrend in effect. Your RSI has been recovering the whole time during this, though it's still not managed to do anything. It is in a downtrend, and as such, this may just reflect like that convergence that we were talking about instead of in terms of hidden divergence, and so may well be it's got a bigger drop on it. It definitely isn't something I'd jump in right now. I'd like to see tests of higher levels, and that would give me more confidence to trade this sort of thing. At the minute it is in a downtrend, and there's nothing looking like it's arresting it. If anything, it's behind important. It's below important levels. So while it is trying, it's failing. So that's the characterization I'm left with having looked at this. And then let's move on and check SAVA. Oh, I've got an alert. I have to turn that microphone, that desktop sound, so you don't have to hear that. I think that's better, is it? Thanks for that donation. I didn't notice he was getting them at the minute. Here's SAVA. It's had that drop. Oof, that was bad, wasn't it? 15-minute time frame. Apparently I called this correctly. I don't have any drawings on it, but the person who asked me to look at it said I got it to a T, so that looks dramatic, and as such I'm sure it was interesting. It looks like I would have called this on a higher time frame though, because that is in and of itself not something. Just looking at that time frame, I would have made this distinction on a higher time frame. Don't need this volume so prominent. Wow, it really has picked up recently, hasn't it? Wow, well, y'all, look at that. This is very volatile. Have I been calling this, huh? Wow. Go away, indicators. So it's on a streak in the weekly. This is a weekly bearishly engulfing weekly candle, though. People have certainly taken their profits on this one. Looks like traders are trading this. That's what I would characterize that as. This looks like a very sustained move. Tested at this level of horizontal, no test here, so straight up to the breakdown zone from this area of consolidation. As you can see, this is how this works, and people often ask me why I jump between levels of support and resistance, ignore some and pay attention to others. Well, this one here, right, tested it twice, and it's also in here on the left, so it's obviously significant, right? 1, 2, gap, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, arguably 7, right? That's really, really obvious. This is horizontal line, super obvious. Then people might say to you, like, well, then why did you not take this one into consideration, right? And it's, well, because if you look across here, you can see, look at all of the touches this had, you know, in around here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is a weekly time frame. 16, 17, 18. And then, you know, so... Right, so like how many were there in around here? Yeah, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Nothing important. It's nothing really that was like tested multiple times either, other than potentially in around this area, which again is a zone, and you can see that it took a breath there before going straight on. That was not significant, so like I would have discounted it, and that's why. And it's because this is the area of price action that we most commonly saw trading within beforehand. And again, this is obviously this one here. So this would be your support and resistance are on weekly time frames. So like immediately you can see now we've had a bearish engulfing candle here on this one. It's coming in for a close. Anything around where it is at the minute is bearishly engulfing on both sides, on bodies and wicks. That's really, really bad. It's also below this area of support and resistance. That's not good news. Whoa. Whoa. And I'll turn my audio down so I don't have to hear the alerts as loud. Yes, me please. Right, so and this is your overall high level look at SAVA. As you can see, there's like potential for this to like keep going. Of course, there's nothing to say that it's over the trend. Though you could look at this trend and say, well, what does it look like? Well, it looks suspiciously like a rising wedge. It almost certainly is. It's put in such a strong move. If you were trading this, you've made the profits that were to be made on the upside in any sort of a low risk, high risk, low risk exchange. You know, when you're a trader, you're buying the risk. And from my perspective, you can buy that risk at good value in and around these levels and these levels, because it's easy to get rid of that trade should prices drop below 75 cents. Like, so it's really, really good value at 166, even better, right? Like down 1 in 18.19. At that point, you're making trades, and from the general look at trades, right? Trading, for what people, investors and things like that think, that looks bad, right? You're really low and prices are low, and it looks like GME at the minute. You know, market sentiment for people who were in it previous to this event happening will have been fatigued, will have had to reach inside themselves for strength at times, other than looking at charts and markets, and have thought, you know, having come down and gone through these periods of like negative drops with every rise up just filling a gap and then being a wick and dropping down again, like kind of embarrassing feeling. Here you got it again, nearly exactly the same thing, happened twice, kind of embarrassing. At this point, you're fatigued, you're pissed off, you're questioning things, and you can think, right, well, and the truth is it can go to anything, right? It can go into zero, and having come from so high to go to so low without any change in trend, you might think to yourself, right, this is going to zero, at which point your perception of risk is that that risk is huge. But if you're a trader and you know that you can buy this, and if the trade goes against you at any of these levels, you can stop out of it and only lose 10%, 15% if you manage your trades well, then it really makes sense if the move upwards is taking you something like that, something like 12,242%. That sort of a rise is really, really good. And if you're trading on a weekly time frame, this isn't me suggesting these times. This is back in 2019. And that investors, they'll be like, "Ooh, scary," but a trader might not look at it that way. You can see the low side of the things, the risk management side of things, and then, just let your trade go. And even though that one went up already loads, put in a very bearish formation, it did recover. Presumably that's around 618 as well. Anyway, it's a weekly time frame, so there's no point dwelling on that. See, it's also come down to the bottom of this wedge though, right? So while this might look bearish, and you might question the sustainability of a trend like this, especially when you see a pattern like this evolve, or a formation like this painted on the charts or created on the charts, whatever expression you want to use, you might think to yourself, it does seem like it might break down, and you would draw the measured move from that. It's the first touch at the top to the first touch at the bottom. It's something like that there. It might end up being not all that significant, but in terms of the ultimate move down, or on the log chart here, you can see it comes in at around $59 from $71. That's a significant move. Take it off log so you can just see what that looks like on a different type of chart, right? It's the same idea, but it will be expressed slightly differently. What am I actually doing here on the linear chart? Obviously it's a completely different formation on the linear chart, but linear chart looks awful in and of itself. It looks like there probably wouldn't be some sort of a bounce on the weekly. It looks like this is terrible. It's going to open here next week. It'll be below this level. How far does it go down? You'd get really worried. You'd be looking at these green lines and this one coming in at the top of this 50 period moving average. You haven't tested it on this trend. It's a stick on that you get somewhere around there at some point, you might think. But if we really think about this, actually there's still something, perhaps potential for it to put in some sort of a lower high on the weekly time frame, right? These are all higher lows. These are all higher highs. This is still significant uptrend. Clicking it back to the log chart, it was a different kind of uptrend, but still, and it may potentially be bearish looking. And you've not got much of a formation here. Not really much of a formation, so I'd like to see more. Anyway, we'll drop down. We'll keep it on the linear chart just for the crack, right? On the daily time frame, you filled that gap and then you drop down. Wow, it loves filling its gaps with wicks, doesn't it? This is the sort of thing that embarrasses people so much. I hate it when things do this to people. Anyway, you're below the 50 and you've touched 200, and you may indeed come up. What's close at 73.20? That would be, $2 here from here till there. That's a significant percentage rise to expect to happen in the next hour and 37 minutes, but so you might be looking at a new low on the daily. Put the oscillators back on, you can see that's convergent with your RSI. Just as it's happening, you've got a cross on the DMI to say the negative trend is in ascendancy, and there's nothing jumping out at me as being all that divergent on the MACD histogram. You've also got a negative cross at the top of that move now on your MACD and your signal line. So this looks like sort of thing again. People will be like, "Oh my goodness, I do not want to buy it here. I do not want to buy it now." And that's true in some levels, but on other levels, you can manage your risk. If we here are looking left, talking about support and resistance, you could say, well, there's a stop zone at 63. There is a stop zone at 63, and in any sort of an entry around 68 might have been positive. Anything even below 73, whatever it was I said earlier, even drop it at the bottom of that wick, 71.05. That's where we are at the minute. That green line 72.33. So if it comes back up here, I can see it being, if it puts a turnaround in, having shooken people out, having dropped below the 50 period, broken that resistance on a wick on a higher time frame, especially if it closes at 73. But we'll see that. We'll have to see more about that in a moment. I can see also on the volume here you've got the most significant period of volumes coming in these last two daily candles, which would be very much, one of them may well be starting volume. Let's see what the other one turns out to be. A continuation of that, likely. Also, though, he's broken below these areas of resistance here. There is that gap above you, up at about 99 something. And it would be also very typical for an asset to scare people and turn around. And you can say, well, why would that be something that it might do? Because prices are driven by speculation, and how many market participants are selling this at this point? Well, people that have crapped the bed, sure, but a volume tells us that they've already done that. They've crapped all over themselves, like they're swimming around in it at the minute. And the question is, who's going to buy it or sell it? And it may well be people who trade, and they think, like, or other longer different types of investors might think this is a good entry. It's very, very in the face of those indicators. Let's see on the 4 hour what it's telling us. Yeah, that's not positive. And that at the top, again, you've got your divergence, quite clean, 3 touches of it. Below this area on the RSI, which is significant, but that could easily be a swing failure to the downside if you do recover. 4 hour, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's all as you would expect from price action. There's nothing crazy happening on these, nothing telling you that you're wrong to be thinking it's bad, that's for sure. Here, yeah, that's actually where the as you can see, I mean, we're only on the 30-minute time frame, but even within this downward leg, when it kicks off, its momentum, as measured by the DMI, says, like, the directional movement index says that this has already done the strength of this third kick, and it's likely that this then does turn around at this area, having behaved like this previously. We'll see how the ADX goes, but you've already got a negative slope on the DI minus, which is positive, right? It is positive for this. This is an uptrend, but on the 30 minutes not so much, and so I wouldn't count that as anything positive, just to say that yes, it's reflective of price action. The MACD, we may have a touch of bullish divergence here, but it's very, very slight. And looking back to previous longer term lows, you're not doing yourself much of a favour in 30 minutes going back that far, though. Let's take it down to 15 minutes and do ourselves no favours and see. What does that mean? Yeah, so above us, it's not just important for that reason, it's important for others. 69.73. Yep, it's dangerous. It's dangerous, alright. 1, 2, 3. We'll likely see some sort of a turnaround soon, though. I don't think this is a sell at all right now. Certainly not right now. I'd say, having looked at all those things, whoops. Let's draw on this and see what's likely to come from these 2 moves that it's done so far. Touching the bottom of the golden pocket, I've been broken below it. Yeah, that's perhaps shaking the last of them out in time, and now it does do some sort of a reversion. Let's see what that would look like. Wow, got massive deja vu from many years ago there. So, yes, so this is again, like you see here, we've already got an area of support and resistance horizontally coming in right where the 236 is. Not just from this 15-minute time frame, but we drew these lines from much larger time frames, of course. So if you're just tuning in, hit like, and also we drew these lines on different time frames, and they're significant now to see that the 236 there is interesting, the 382 is another one that's very interesting, and then obviously 236, 618s match up on the move, because that's the way these things go, and it is quite likely, on all honesty, that this does do a turnaround. I'd like to see it push towards 85, 86 levels. See what happens when it gets there. Definitely check in with me if you want to know what's up. I'll definitely have a look at it and be interested in doing so. Opening, closing above there, you could be looking at another 25%. You'll close the gap perhaps. Let's say that's likely. You'd also go beyond that and test these levels of horizontal resistance that came in from this previous breakdown. Either, yes, this is one area, but above that you've got another. It comes in at the 0.5, so it's going to be significant for two different reasons. It's also been retouched here, significant. Above it here you've also got this price action, significant number of touches, and it's really just the top of this thing too. It's also where you came up on a retest before this downward side of here, so anything around 115 is also likely, yeah. So I mean, and that they just match up with the fibs, and like this thing's a trader's dream, right? This is really, you manage your risk, you take a long from here, that's not bad, right? I would say you give yourself a good stop loss on it. This low line below here is one of them. Let's draw that on. I think it's here, long position. You could take it anywhere even from now, right? Like let's say you do, because sugar, I meant to check my trade earlier. Anyway, pardon me. You it's not something else. You would, because this is one option, right? It's not financial advice, right? But you take it lower, your stop lower than here. I would. It does leave you with 61, 66, right? Fair enough. Right? That's quite a big percentage. It is, and a lot of people don't want to do that. And you know, maybe they don't hold their winners as long at the top side, so that it isn't sensible for them to put that in a strategy. But if you were to take that move, you know, it could easily, like let's take that back a bit, right? Let's not even go for the 618. Let's not even go for the 0.5, right? Let's say it comes in and it closes the gap. Let's just say it comes in and closes this gap and gets to the 382 and then still doesn't work. That's still a 5.3 to 1 trade, even with a huge stop loss. And to me, that is huge, right? That is actually huge, even with this type of trade. I don't know, right? So I'd pay attention to it, I'd look at it, I'd maybe take it Monday if I thought that the price action was interesting in around these zones. I'd probably pay attention at the time and watch it get into this zone, and then think about market ordering in, depending on what your oscillators looked like. And that's, bear that in mind, that at the minute they're not particularly positive. But I see this. I've seen this before, and I've seen this before, and that's how this speaks to me. This is opportunity at the minute. So that's what I'm looking at in terms of SAVA. Okay, what have I missed then? The subscription from iJalin. Thanks very much, buddy. D Harker donated $4.99 for super chat. One question, please. Can you look at APT2? Any more thoughts on squeeze metrics? Yes, 3 bevies in Discord tonight. Thanks, buddy. Yo, D. Yeah, I looked at that a little bit more. I had questions that I never got around to asking squeeze metrics, and read through his white paper and looked at the nature of his indicator and thought about the data points he was using and figured it might be interesting. D and I were chatting about that option, and then other sources I looked into of getting like dark pool data or alternative trading systems reporting data, because I'm quite angry, so it would be good to build in some of the extra stuff that you don't necessarily get oversight of, which maybe I'd have some experience of. I'd be able to bring extra insight to. So I was looking at that. Now some of them are very expensive, you know, and it's quite a difficult decision to make when general revenues are going down and I've got other priorities. But at the same time, I think it might be something people are interested in. So definitely thinking about it. I'm going to speak to your boy you mentioned there, Squeeze Metrics, and see if he's interested in maybe giving me some sort of a discount. And if not, it's perfectly acceptable. I don't do it. On that note, Teespring have offered a 10% discount to anyone who's shopping at unreasonable.shop. You get 10% off, and it doesn't come out of my what's it called? really simple word, profit margin. Yeah, it doesn't come out of that. So like, it's not me offering you. I wouldn't offer you one. I wouldn't offer you one at all. It's far too cheap if you ask me. Unreasonable.shop, but Teespring are being kind to Doomslayers, so you get 10% off. The code is back to school, all one word, all capitals. So, I still can't recommend you go and visit it. I definitely can't do that, but there are people out there that would think that it's a good idea you do. So there's that, and yes, and what was it you want me to look at again? Please look at APT2. APT2. Cool, will do. And then just check through the other message. Hey brother, what are these life? How you doing, mate? $5. Hey brother, thanks for all you're doing. Could you look over OCGN? Had a bing bong on the ADX on daily. Okay, will do. Worthy. And then just get back through these. Thanks for the new subscribers. I see you there. Amber Nated, $5 for your chat. Thank you very much, Amber. Kimson, can't understand some of what you're saying, but what I do get is gold. I see. I've gone back through donations, through days and days of donations here. So there was only actually Worthy and D today. Right, cool. I'm not missing anything too much then. Pardon me. I don't quite have a schedule or a timeline or any idea of how long I took on each of those things. So if you do, or that, and somebody asks, what about this? Just feel free to tell them it happened at whatever time that was, like relative to the start of the stream. Like, oh, that was 15 minutes in, or an hour in, or whatever it is. I don't think it's been that long yet, but how long has it been? 46 minutes. Okay, so we covered quite a few things in that amount of time. I'm going to look at OCGN first. Take it in chronologically. Don't have that on my chart. Do have it on my chart, apparently. Did I do this before, Worthy? Just double clicked it, took it off and on again, probably ruined my drawings. Probably. Why have I got two scales on the right here? It's because I've got this on one panel here. I've managed that. I'm such an idiot sometimes. Please go back to your own box, mate. Oh, I'm not going to get it here, am I? This does it. Please bear with me as I tidy this up. I didn't notice that I'd obviously dragged it onto a different one. And OCGN, it was the daily, was the time frame. Was the time frame. Oh, I hear another donation. Who was that? Chris Sweeney, Super Chat 499. Here's a pint for you when you get back to Belfast. Well, thanks very much, Senor Sweeney. That's very much appreciated. I can't imagine I'd stop in Belfast for the pint. I'd probably go on down the road to Restrever and get it in one of those familiar places and play a game of pool, and who knows, play one of those stupid poker machines in the pub. That's what I'll do, and I'll think of you in the backs. Chris, thanks very much. That's appreciated. Right, so you're right. There is a lot going on here, Worthy. There is lots going on here. My goodness. Sorry, Worthy, I don't mean to do this to you. Wow. That's like the Devil Wears Prada, isn't it? That's what that is. I can't go any lower, bro. Right. Well, people have really been interested in it since it became virtually worthless, haven't they? This is a funny one. I like it, right? OCGN. How are you doing, OCGN? What was it? What did you come across? And what went so wrong? That's why I don't like investing in healthcare things. Well, I mean, this isn't, but the greater reasons behind why that's happened will be. Started, and it gave you this thing here, right? This is what Robinhood has done, right? Robinhood has started and it's had an IPO that looks very like what this one did, right? And I was trying to get that across yesterday, but it probably got lost in the sarcasm and hatred that I have for the company and its CEO. But it's doing what this has done, right? Which is I'm not talking about the prices. I'm talking about the catastrophic opening it's had and what that means then. It inevitably means for the future of that company, regardless of anything they then go on to do. It doesn't matter. The charts have spoken, the news is in, and the thing is fucked. As this was for 6 or 7 years. It's been a constant and utter decimation of value in people's portfolios. It's been exclusively lower highs followed by lower lows. Oh, another donation. I'm not a cat. Super chat at $5 for all the TA. And so you don't resort to putting bananas in places bananas shouldn't go. I shall not resort to it. Haha. If it comes to it, I have other things to be doing, which I do quite frequently, and as you'll have noticed the last wee while, Rocky hasn't really had time to be here. And when Rocky's been on, I most commonly haven't had time to be there because we do work in the background on our own thing, which is called Picnic, and you can see all about that at picnic.network, which is the full URL. There is no anything else that needs to be put in there. It'll take you there, and that's what we do. So the only reason that isn't a bigger thing at the minute is because we're doing this, and Rocky doesn't feel the same way I do about it, but I was quite insistent that we don't focus too heavily on Picnic while the GME saga is ongoing, because the greater audience might judge us, and that would have like a negative impact on the company. Somebody just bought a t-shirt. You got a discount on that too. Amazing. Nate, thanks so much for getting that t-shirt, Nate. That's the yellow one is my favourite one. There's also the black one, which is comfortable, and the limited edition yellow one with the red writing, which is all dead comfortable. But the yellow one with the yellow Bing Bong Classic is my favourite. Good on you, Nate. If that was the yellow one, it certainly looked like it. What from here? Where was I? I was talking about Picnic. Yeah, you can check that if you want. It would be bigger, but we were sort of delayed. But I don't know. I don't feel that way anymore, so I might just, it's up to Rocky, but we'll see how things go. We're also very, very lucky to have Harriet on board doing a refresh of some of the branding and whatnot. So everything will be really, 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 really just like ready to go any freaking second. And so I'm not going to hold it back on ultimately on behalf of the hedgies. That won't be happening. So we'll see how things go. Daniel, $5 for super chat. Thanks so much, Daniel. That's really appreciated. How are you today? I hope you're having a good day, Daniel. And I do like those. I do really like those alerts. I know other people think like the shine wears off, but like lots of people that come out here are new to the channel, and they see that and they think that's very different, and it is very different. And who knows? I'm a little bit different, and if you aren't able to stick by things like that, then you're probably not going to get on with me very well, right? So, like I was saying about this thing, sure, right, you can go to other time frames and things look good, but it's worth putting things in context, right? Now, that context would be, this thing was completely utterly screwed, has been its entire life. Nobody would ever go anywhere near it until such times as somebody did, and they really, really did. They either jumped ship or they bought loads, and for every buy there's a sale. On this chart, it tells you that's the way these things work. You can't buy them without somebody selling them to you, and on this chart you can't sell them without somebody having taken them off your hands. So that happened. It happened here. It had very little effect on price action, but that's not true. Let's go in and look at it. It'll be a huge effect. terms of percentages once we get there. We'll go on to the log chart. Just as you can see there, you're already getting more detail on the weekly. And yes, there's been huge moves. Wow, loads of money made. Fortunes won on that side of the move. They were lost over here. A recovery of this thing would be huge. It would be absolutely huge. Wow, that would be such a huge change. And when I say huge, I mean completely and utterly against what it's done in the entirety of its history. As you can see on the weekly, it's still not put in higher highs on the weekly. I know it looks like, because this is so dramatic, right? And you might be like, wow, you know, this is awesome. It's gone from 17 cents to, went to $24 or so. You might think, oh, it does exactly, $19.24. You might think from 17 cents, wow, this thing's amazing. And I'm not going to disagree with you, but I will tell you that that doesn't mean anything for the structure. You know, it's just put in what is essentially, and we're still on the weekly time frame here, like this is where it started and it was crap, and this was what it came back to and that was crap, and this was its next high, which is also where it destroyed itself. Nothing. You started putting in like at this point you're like, well, here, where are these lows? Is that it? Because it's historically low for it. Is that a new thing? It's way below previous consolidation. Nope, that wasn't it. Came in, did an even lower low. That's awful. You know, tried to recover, again lower highs, even at its best effort was an awfully crap high, and then it broke down again from its previous, then its next high on this failed move, which also put in divergence on it was just awful. And in the context of a downtrend, it was very much continuation. And then again lower highs, which are also a breakdown point. And then here you come, put in a low. This is the low that is still got beaten, right? At that point, well, is that? Wait a minute, what is that actually? If it is what I just thought it was, it's a nightmare. Hey Puddle, ticker is off screen, so peeps are wanting to know who you're talking about. Oh shoot, sorry, this is OCGN. For Worthy's Life asked to look at it. It's OCGN. I was just checking out like what sort of, if it was a disastrous series of retraces that spoke to a continuation on the move, which it certainly looked to me on first inspection. I'm going to have to check out something in a second here, but if this doesn't, I would say like this 50. Oh, another t-shirt sold. Awesome. Who was that one? I can't see it, but it looked a little bit like phonetic duck, in which case, quack. I quite like the onomatopoeia of a quack. So if that was you, thank you very much. It also reminds me of the first joke I ever heard, which was when I was really, really young, and the doorbell rang. Mum and Dad were in bed. The door rang, I answered the door, and there was a man there with a bill. And I went and told Dad, I said, Dad, there's a man at the door with a bill. And he said, don't be silly, Jamie. Men don't have bills. It must be a duck with a hat on. Shambling Shade donated $10. Shambling Shade, do you appreciate the mumble TA? It sounds like you would. Happy Friday. Really enjoying the stream. Keep up the great work. Would you give thoughts on when you have them in, please? I certainly shall do. Thank you very much for watching, and you're welcome. And the nice compliment. Thank you. Yes, the ticker goes off screen when I'm not looking at GME, so you won't be able to see it because of these vectors, but it will be back when I'm back on GME. And in a minute, we're going to finish off this OCGN. We spent a lot of time on the weekly time frame. It says me, you want to be holding this area around $5 below you. If it doesn't, it's very bad news. I'll now delete these drawings. Delete these drawings. Because they don't say nothing good. I don't really care about those lower high drawings. Just leave those circles on there. Nah, there's just too many and they're annoying. This one is the one that's relevant at the minute. This area of support and resistance, because that's where we're at, Jamie. You know, yo, guys, I'm saying Jamie, but I'm really talking to yous now. I'm not talking inside my own head anymore. That's important level. You don't want to go below there, right? If you do, you'll probably go back here to $2.38, right? If you break below $5.24, you'll probably go to $2.43. Definitely want to see more about it at that stage. You know, I'd like to see what was going on. Because of that move it's had, there would be, I would expect, some activity at that level. But then below there, you have got maybe more touches. You know, 1, 2, 3, and 4 there. Strewy, like. That'd also be a lower high and probably be divergent. I'd expect it to touch all the way down to there. And that would be your 3 places you'd be looking below, and you'd think perhaps I'll enter a trade, and as such you don't really have much risk management zone there. Well, I mean, you do. This is your best one because the 50 period's right there, so you've got the closest place for a stop loss. You've got the lowest risk in terms of what your amount you're going to lose. You've also got less on the top side though, which like you have to bear in mind. You have to take that in mind because it's your risk reward, and your reward will then also be like highly constrained by this trade. So is it attractive to you? I mean, the chances of it happening are unrelated to both of those things and are actually reasonably high. So you want to factor that into the way you trade. Like that would be the TA advice for you. Personally, the way I like to see things, I'm not getting any buy signals right now. I'd not jumping out at me anyway. I've not gone down through the time frames. Again, I'm still on the weekly, but we'll see. And in and around here, again, you've got the stop loss too far away there compared to either of these two trades, and really, like, this is the one I'd be looking at. I'd be looking and thinking, no, I don't particularly want to enter this trade here. There's not enough on it for me. If I was taking it, I'll take a profit here, certainly. Your 200 period moving average on the weekly would quite easily be in and around there by the time you get back, should it even go bullish. There's your entry on it. There'd be a test of these two. If this stays here, comes down, bounces up again, who knows, it'd be again get a big period of constant congestion in prices at that point. And yeah, so OCGN, sure, let's drop down the time frames actually, and let's put that last one back on until we get down these time frames. On the daily time frame, it's out where the 200 is. You haven't tested it yet. Below the 50, significantly below it. Have tested the 200 enough now. I've also put in, I suppose no. This is interesting then, I suppose. The thing that's interesting about it is how does it respond if it does take another dip here to the 200 at 50, at 562 or below, and again your entry really is at 524. It's like it would be a higher low, and if there was divergence at the time, which there may well be, this says that there's going to be volatility, like you know, worthy of course, and like you had previously on this. Where did this flash end? Somewhere around here. Flashed, prices off, back, down, back. Came back to it twice. There's a significant percentage on that move too. Now you're getting it again. This time your ADX is at like historic lows, even lower than it was down at the low of this area. They're on the log chart, and you've put in a very positive move. You've got that gap below. There's your weekly, but here's your gap on the daily. So even there, where I was considering putting in a trade before, you've got another move below from 123 all the way down to 86, 85 cents. Yeah, so you're going to have to manage your trades with stops on this one. Or else you're going to have to put in very small amounts and do it in a position management perspective, in which case you're going to be like taking it over a longer period of time, as we're in many ways as we're managing our GME positions, as opposed to like a straight up stop loss type thing. This might be more suitable for that sort of thing. I mean, you tell me, I'm not trading it, so I'm not making a call on that, and you'll obviously know the sentiment among your fellow participants if you're trading this in some sort of a apish manner. I'm sure you'll know all about it, but it's a health technology company, so I'm not sure how that all fits. But anyway, I'd be using stop losses without more information. I think that's the way to trade this. I think it's very, very good for this sort of thing. I think there's your entry is like, let's look at this again on the smaller time frames, but I'm starting to think there might be something quite positive about it. It might not be right here, because obviously, I mean, I don't know, right? Presumably you'll find it quite obvious. I certainly find it quite obvious that this looks like up and handle. Under which circumstances, like, you could easily see a retrace down to this level, and that would be your cup and handle type of entry if you're just going on formations alone on that 50 period at like $1.81. And I'm giving loads of different information, but this is for lots of different people who trade this. Like, it seems highly likely that let it at least illustrate your longer term feelings about this asset. It would be that it's put in so far a very strong recovery. It's got good information on the volume side of things, possibly, and all of that might become clear if over a period of time, even despite a further retrace in this, that it only comes into in around the 50% line here, and then you obviously you'd think that's cut with handle, at which point you've got a measured move off the back of it, which takes you, I mean, presumably it's going to take you up here to around $127. That's also the 1414 Fibonacci extension target, and to go on any further than that, you could then see another further 100% on this. If it breaks above that, but that's like such a very, very high target for something that's currently at $6.71. And so before then, I would likely see like little bits more. Like, I'd like to see more dynamics play out, and some of those would be like, you're looking at how this 250 period react. You've had a golden cross and it's taken us up here. Is it going to come back and then uncross, having failed to break our previous resistance, having only ever put in lower highs its entire lifetime? If every time frame we've gone through so far, we've seen it look like it's robbed money from its original investors, and anybody who's got near it since has only been had their account values destroyed. So you have to bear all that in mind. On the 4-hour time frame, yeah, does this look like a bull flag? Sure, it does. Lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. I'd expect then a further lower low still to come in. That could easily come in at the 618. Like, it would be quite, there's like so many reasons why this would come at least to $4.04. There's so many reasons, or not $4, yeah, $4.04. So many reasons, even like lower down to $3.13. There's so very, like, and that would still be part of a bullish flag, maybe, if this was what you're looking at, a bull flag, which on 4-hour looks a little bit like that. You could also say, though, that this looks like a descending triangle, in which case that would be bearish, and the measured move of that would take you down to the 50% anyway, and it does look like it could do that with that lower high second one and these continued lower lows beforehand. You got that move. No divergence on the bottom. Your momentum to the downside had picked up. It was a very contrarian trade. It was just a test of the 200 period, and this area of the breakdown, well, not even, but very close to it. Nah, it was this gap here being filled from the move up, and then you got like a divergence there on that little higher high, and that does not speak well for this. So I would expect a further retrace down. Yeah. Yeah, I would think about it. It could go on, but I would think about it. And there's like, even in a very good day, I might be very optimistic, and I might think this looks fantastic, and I would have to remind myself that it wouldn't fit for me at all to enter this above that level, 303. It just wouldn't fit for the way I trade. It just wouldn't work. I'd have to remind myself of that. And I wouldn't take the trade until it got there. And then when it got there, I'd look at it and think, well, have we got the bottom of this move then? You know, that's a 618 there, it's a 236 on the other side of it, nearly definitely. Let's see, where will we take it from? Obviously, if we take it the same place, then it'll be the 236 we're at, yeah. We're at the 236 at the minute, so it has to hold here. And if it doesn't, then sure, the 50% on the left is also the 50% on the right. You look at 618 below there, that could be where it ultimately goes, and still even only just close the gap, got into the golden pocket down here. And as such, a lot of people will be looking at that. You wouldn't take the trade until it broke the areas it would break, I would say, again, or like the $5.07, and then you'd have to manage your risk. And you'd be running into the potential people going long using the other side of things that I've said up until now. So like just that last bit would be on the 4 hour, and then I imagine if you go down to 15 minutes, it's not all that different. Yeah, your uptrend was decimated. As you can see, this came down. That's obviously bullish if this is an uptrend, but it's not on this time frame. And have you filled that gap? Yeah, close enough is near enough. I think that is filled. Plus, it's not a real gap on that time frame. But let's see. The contrarian person would go long here. And is that enough of a reason? This is SRSI signature. I don't know. 15 minutes left on this 15-minute candle. That's 8 o'clock. It's power hour, right? I've covered that. We're going to look at D's, and then look, what was D wanted me to check? I'll check that quickly. APT2, I think. Where is it? Oh, there's other donations. I missed from Lepton. Thank you for what you do. Help the investing community. Thanks, Lepton. That's nice. Cheers, mate. And Daniel Assange, $5. And did we get before that? And I'm not a cat's helping me from resorting to the oldest profession of all. Happy Friday. Really enjoyed stream. That was Shambling Shade. He wanted me to look at... You, sir, would like me to take a look at IIPR. Cool. AP2. Where is D's message? There it is. AP2. APT2. Is this Tilray you want to look at? It's coming up, so I'm thinking maybe that is. But APT2 itself isn't. APT Systems Inc., but it's OTC, so do you really want to look at that? Maybe you do. Let me know, D, if you want me to look at, if that's what you want me to look at. Maybe you meant to say APPL or something, I don't know. What? Let me double check with you here. If you're just looking for APT Alpha Protect, that won't be it. Will it? Surely not, right? Wait, you won't be, no. You got APT2. D, what am I looking for? D, tell me what I'm looking for. In the meantime, IIPR. White. this is quite a different chart from OCGN, isn't it? Isn't it, folks? This is a very different chart. I was worried someone's texting me to say something's wrong with the stream. But it is nothing wrong with it. It's okay. Everything's okay. Well, sorry, I'm going to go back to that a second. 160.61. Let's take this 15 minutes. It's not moving. Oh, it did all that stuff, did it? It came out of here and it's sitting tall on the top of that, or what? Did I just draw that on that? No, it's come out of that and it's rolling on the top of it. Okay. Nothing positive about that though. Move that. 164. 164 for close. Well, or here. One of the two. Right, so we'll go back to the IIPR and then get back to doing proper technical analysis on GME in a minute. So we looked at this on the weekly and it was the complete opposite of OCGN, despite having only been around for a couple of years left lifetime, but a complete opposite chart. Quite a sustained uptrend here, despite being in the face of divergence for 2 weeks now. Pardon me. Class B divergence on the RSI, significant divergence on the MACD with a number of negative crosses and a weakening strength on the DI plus, as you can see on DMI, as your ADX has been flatlining a crappy area without any strength of trend. So who's been holding this up then? And how much longer can they afford to go for? Real Estate Investment Trust. There's a problem at the top side of this price action. It's obvious across every one of these main indicators I've got down the bottom. When I say main, I mean the ones that I use on the stream all the time. So that just seems to be the way it's gone, really. Volume, nothing's happened yet. You're above the 50 period moving average on the 1 hour. Let's go back up and look at something more significant, right? 4 hour, okay, not so bad. It's only recently this has been as bad as it's showing up to be terrible. Also, yes, that's terrible. And that was very strong on the DMI. Congratulations, you did it there, mate. You did do it, but you're again divergent. ADX strengthening and pointing up. I like it. I like it a lot. I like that a lot. You've had your positive cross. It's been tested once, twice, and went on again. So there's your golden cross, but it's on the 4 hour. It's not a golden cross, but it's like, you know, it is on that time frame. It's just that's not real. It's only real on the daily time frame. You covered that was the same period you recovered it and tested it on the daily. Congratulations. Volume still dipping. I could see that to pick up. Previous resistance is very, very likely to be a peak, even if it does go a tiny little extension beyond it. 220, it would be, I'd make sure I had my parachute on. At 220, I'd definitely make sure I had my parachute on. That's what I'd say about this one. That would be rank. If it does get up there, right, if it gets up there to 220, it's already going to be rank, right? This is already highly likely a good shorting position. If it does get up to 220 and then drops back below 204, it looks like it might be in for a really shit time. Sure, it could spend a while bouncing in around this golden pocket here, or just above. Let's call that 185. At which point you'd be looking at the 200 period and hoping that would arrest it, but your lower lows are coming in around 163, and you know, I mean, I'm telling you, you'll need a parachute, because if it gets there, it's maybe fucked. This isn't going to do you any favours, like it isn't. But the 1414 extension will take some people out of the trade that were going against you, should you stuck in along at this thing. If that happens, you need your parachute here. If it goes up to 220, great. If it goes beyond that, I'll be very surprised. I'd be very surprised. mean, when I say go beyond there, I mean go beyond there and open and close a daily up there and that. And if it does, I'd tell you, like, you better still have your parachute on, because still wouldn't change my mind. Still looks screwed. I'd have a stop loss on just above your previous peak there. Maybe give it an extra 2% or something. And I'd enter at it, and then I'd take it, and maybe even I'd look at this, and if it was failing on a lower time frame, which it looks like it might do. Yeah, it looks like it might do. Then it might be worth a short already. I don't know. I don't feel very positive about this thing. I don't know what your perspective is, mate, and I hope it's not your company. Or if it is, you're covering from this sort of event. Yeah, if I was looking for a long on this, it would be in at around $183. That's where I'd be thinking about entering again. Until then, I wouldn't be all that interested in going long on it, unless something crazy was going down, or the news was crazy or something. Yeah, people look at 196. Not for me. 188. Not for me. 184. Yeah, try that. I'd see at the time what it looked like. Yep, I'd see that. I think it's going down, mate. I think it's got a big drop on the horizon. Maybe 20% or something quite easily could happen. Could happen there. Not feeling good about this. Ow. What was it, D? Where are you, D? Did you tell me, D? Where is the boy, D? Tradespotting, your screen is cutting off the ticker at the top. Yeah, sorry, Bird Bear. It's not doing that when I'm on this, is it? Yeah, it is. Sugary. Why is it all gone weird? That's just pure weird, eh? Why is that happening? Dun 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 diddle bam bam. I'll fix that now, doing that weird thing. That's working, but the other stuff ain't working. I've no idea how that happened. Did I move that or something? Shouldn't have happened. Oh yes, so obviously I've been demonetized. Like, that happened as soon as I started the stream. Which will lead to various things, including the chat being lost to time. What happened to my timeline? Where is it? Where? Ha, there it is. We have you. Right, we're back in business. What happens when I go to other things? Just out of fun. Ha, AMC works. Good news, AMC fans. What about, say, these gold miners? Nah, you're going shitter. Look, you're not fitting on, so you're probably going to touch your 200 and die because of that. What about silver? Oh, look, you're a bit fucked. Oh, that's not great. It's not great at the minute. I wonder what you're going to do. What about BlackBerry? Have you got your return and your entry on this yet? What has it gone like? Why have all my drawings... Why did I not draw a long trade on this? I definitely would have thought I would have. Here's your... yeah, you got your comeback here. We said something like you might come back somewhere or whatever, and that was important. If it didn't open above here, it didn't. Bump. Retest, drop down. Well, I don't know, but I think I might have called this one really, really well. Anyway, that's not what we're looking at today, and for some reason my drawings have gone... Really important 236 on this, but like I say, if you get it, you're going to 15, and if you can get that open and close, it could be even higher. And the top side of a move on this is back up here, $30. Oh, crazy. And that's like not the top side of the entire move. That's just like where you would, at this stage, I would have taken 66% of my profits. I'd have taken a chunk of them. Again, obviously, by the time we got to like 17.55, and I'd taken most of that off the table at 14. But you've got a really good trade on the hand there. Also, the ticker fits on the screen. That's amazing. Oh, that's killing it. Right. What did D want me to look at? APT2's not a thing. The ticker info is cut off at the top. Yeah, got that now. How are you today? P.S. People can't see the tickers. Dragon Slayer. Thank you for telling me these things at these times. I have said the ticker when I first went on it, so somebody in chat will know. What's with AMC? Share count and CEO confirming no naked shares? Question mark. Meaning vote must have been below 100%. I don't know. I haven't seen any of that stuff. What is that stuff? I haven't seen any of that. I haven't seen what the CEO has been saying about it or that. Obviously, I've been on Twitter. People ask me to check Twitter. I will go in that in a moment. I'll do that now while I'm waiting for Dee to tell me which one it was. Dan Weldo, have a good weekend, man. I've barely had a minute the last couple of days, but I got a few cheeky Twitter memes done. Catch you next week, Chief. You too, Dan. I did see a couple of your funny ones. The Rocky cooking up the charts one was dead funny today. That was dead funny. 160.04. Huh? 04? Yes, this is what it is. So Twitter. What do we see here then? Well, we see. This is a tweet from someone called Jamie_Curran, who it is I Doomslayer, right? So what does he say? He says something quite interesting here. You can follow me on Twitter _Jamie_Curran. There are those that talk of financial destruction. It's simply a season of renewal. The Enlightenment taught us to trust science and facts above institutions and fear. Civilization is now being similarly reborn, and we are each reliving the thrill of our own conception. The men behind the curtain are decrepit, diseased, and dying. They are not the focus of the greatest story ever told. You are. You are the hero. You are the agent of change. The time is now. The moment is yours. You are the mystery's final page. Somebody responded to this in various ways, and you can see how I feel about things overall. Nice people here. Nice people. Nice things. We had this response. As a long-time GME fan, right, I doubt this very much doubt the truth of that veracity of that opening line. I can honestly say, okay, people who begin a sentence with I can honestly say, immediately I distrust them. We're not going, okay, you're not we, and you've already distinguished yourself as very much not being part of the we. So at this stage I'm like, right, fanny alert, right, huge fanny alert. Any further, right? Obviously, that doesn't mean anything other than to be negative. That's just this person is a fanny, full stop, definitely. We have gained hype and attention. Now, again with the we, right? Again with the we, while at the same time entirely disassociating. This is someone who's very amateurish at manipulation. But we are held back by players like Clove. Listen, Clove never held back GME. That's a very absurd statement. And I heard a number of absurd things have been said today, but that's right up there. I will be selling everything. Okay, well, good for you. I'm putting it into Amazon, right? Jeff Bezos has just divested a huge chunk of his Amazon investment. So if you think it's a good idea when he thinks it's a bad idea, you're probably like, I don't know, cool, fair enough, right? There is like an institutional uptick in the interest in equities considering the inflation that we've seen. So it may well be that there are opportunities, but I'm not potentially, I wouldn't be looking to Amazon to change my life right now. It's not true that you can make money by selling physical products on Amazon the way the adverts tell you. Nor is it true that you can make money by not selling physical products but selling some other scam on Amazon. And they're not the play that I'm looking at right now by any means. And then they go on to say, and Robinhood, which I'd love to see this guy put his money in Robinhood and for it to die, blah, 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 Bulgaria, blah, 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 nonsense. Where they actually make a profit. That's funny. Good luck. Okay, thanks very much. I appreciate it. My response, sir, I respect that you have an opinion, just as you have an arsehole. Both may stink, but if we stop people being allowed opinions, or arseholes, we would be in a bigger mess than we are now, which is very true. So, there's that. And what else was we going to look at then? Something else, right? What's chat been saying when we had to laugh about that? Salik Fran, he's not allowed to confirm or deny anything without an audit, so yeah, he said nothing really. I expect that was what Adam Merritt said. Chat disconnected. Why is it disconnected? Is chat still actually here? Why is it saying that to me? Chat's still here, right? I'm still live. It says that there. There's a donation. Have a nice weekend. Is that Space Monkey? I can't see it on these screens. Space Monkey, have a nice weekend. Thank you very much, Space Monkey. JC is me. Oh, thank you very much, JC is me. And Corpulus Colossum. $5 for super. Hi, Jimmy. Love yours and Rocky shows. I've also got Daniel. I'm reading these back behind. I'm badly organized with these messages. Hi, Jamie. Love you and Rocky shows. Last super chat somehow didn't go through. Curious, can you look at nerve? I entered at 186 and look for 345. I certainly can. I don't know. I didn't see it. If you didn't see it, I definitely didn't see it. Daniel says, Sugars, I'm missing things here. Daniel, well, I am off to the Liberal 2K21's YouTube stream. I am convinced, and I have made loads selling Jamie bobbleheads on Amazon. Those are good inventions, those bobbleheads, huh? Lepton Inc. has just donated $5 for super chat. Do you want it APT? If time permits, can I get a lightning quick liquid? You want a liquid? Yeah, man. Well, let's get some liquid on the go. I don't know. Like, we're already running out of time, aren't we? We've got 40 minutes, and I've got a number of things to cover. But no, we can do it. Of course we can. No problem. It's Friday. Why not? Of course, my horse. Just APT. Oh, two will have been like as well or something. Daniel, good luck to you selling those bubbleheads. You, exclusively you, I'll give you permission to use those bubbleheads. And congratulations. And what else was I going to look at here? Am I on something at the minute that I should be looking at? Well, it's GME, it's 160. Still 160. Slow day at the GMEs. Thanks very much, Space Monkey. You have a nice weekend too. Right, so I'm going to look at Liberal 2K21's YouTube channel. Yeah, that's where I'm going now. I'm just like, he's obviously the financial advisor for me. It's just me and him. I can tell we'd get along. Like poo in a shoe. D wanted APT. Let's do APT, yeah, because this is like awesome. It's just so awesome. What's Amazon doing at the minute? Well, your guy's down. Your boy's lost loads of money. Your boy's lost loads of money, innit? That's not very good news. Unlucky, mate. Your comment was fucking stupid. You're a fucking idiot, and you've lost loads of fucking money, you fanny. There you go. ATIP. That can't be what he was looking at. ATI Physical Therapy Inc. It can't have been that, because this doesn't look like the sort of thing D would be interested in. Oh wow. Ooh vavu. Ooh vavu. Coo, come down. Prices, come down here. To $2.83 from $7.49. That's a bit of a shitter. I don't think you were asking for that. Were you? APT. Let's just go APT. It is APT. He was looking, but there's lots of APTs here. You know, there are a lot. Are we looking at... Why didn't D tell me what he was looking at? Is it because he's away off using the bathroom or something? D, get off the toilet! What is this? Case, pull it. Case, do you know what he was looking for? If I'm looking at the right thing. If I don't know, I'm going to do it on Alpha Pro. Here it comes. Here it comes. Alpha Pro. Alpha Pro and propane accessories. Wow, Alpha Pro and propane accessories. Real explosive ticker this. Real explosive ticker this one here, there. This one here, dear. Hello, dear. Hello, dear. What am I doing? I'm losing it. That's a sign I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Okay, stop it. Stop it, Jimmy. I'm such a good singer, I'll get myself copyright troubles. I'm losing it. Yes, this is one of these. I see. My chat's disconnected again. That's so annoying. Why is that happening? I'm going to have to move this over here and get this other chat box up, because I don't like it when I can't see chat, and I feel like I'm doing all this to myself, and it gets boring and lonely when I'm only doing it to myself. Ah, Che bought a try blend tea. You got the nice one. Ooh, Che, you got a discount on today's bill. You lucky thing, you. Thank you very much. It's a good way to support the channel because you get a cool t-shirt and then everybody else sees you wearing it. They're like, what's that? That's interesting. And if anybody else sees you wearing a Tradespotting t-shirt, well, they're just going to love you, aren't they? They're going to be like, ping pong, I love this human being. D has chatted APT many times. Well, I mean, I wish he would just tell me, you know. I just wish he would just tell me what he wants to look at. If you could just say it, you know, or anyone else could just tell me, then it would be easy. But for some reason, Jamie, I think we got a breakdown in communication. Banana freeze. Did we? At what point? I think it's D. D's had to break down in his communication because he's been too busy pooping. He's doing the number 2s, and so he isn't able to answer us here. But it's okay, D. No problem. I'll get right to it, D. You just sit there on the toilet, and I'll get down to doing the APT technical analysis, right? Don't rush yourself on the loo. That's important, D. Right? I'll get down to doing APT, and it's this APT as I'm going to do is the APT we is going to do. This is the one. Alpha Pro and propane accessories. Ain't no other one. This is the big one. When I went to give you a super chat, YouTube crashed and I had to come back in and then redo my super chat. Oh my goodness. YouTube is crashing it. When people try to support the channel, YouTube crash it. Kim Robbins, I hope you have a relaxing, non-stressful weekend, Jamie. Much love and thanks for all you do. I appreciate you, legend. Kim, you're so lovely and such a nice person and supported me for so long, watched along so long. Really appreciate you. And I think you're a lovely person. Thank you very much for supporting me. And like, I've seen you and chatted to you in loads of different places. I'm not just being like silly for anyone who doesn't know. Kim's awesome. Right, thanks everybody. And D, I'm going to do this here despite the fact that you're finding it very difficult to answer me there, D. Tradespotting, what's that say? Wait, is the Space Monkey the old space? Yeah, where's space gone? No, they're different. Tradespotting, tell the Twitter fanny, proof or ban for his positions. Dink donk, dink donk. So I think I've got all the messages there, the recent ones. Also, not always your own cojones. It's like, well, I mean, that's not my cojones. I don't often grab other people's cojones. Although when I'm at the dentist, you know, I do like to grab the dentist cojones and say, well, we're not going to hurt each other now, are we, friend? And that usually means my dental experiences are quite varied and interesting. Simulation confirmed. This is interesting, this idea of a simulation, you know. I do think it's interesting. I also disdain a lot of the things that Elon Musk says. I find them to be quite patronizing. And I find this whole idea of the simulation to be one that is true. Well, it is nice to have that talk. I also think that if you are to consider the nature of consciousness, you will, of course, understand that perception and sensation are completely different things. We all perceive the same things, but our sensations with regards to them will be personal to ourselves. While the color red may look and be classified the same to you or may be different, we color it with the hue of our own emotions. And in that sense, it's easy to think, well, there's nothing physical or chemical that's causing me to feel this way or consider my own soul or consciousness, if you like. And so perhaps there is something metaphysical about consciousness. And in that sense, it's easy to avert yourself from the gaze of all of your own crooked, broken parts to your personality and your humanity. The nature of human condition will nearly force you to avert your eyes from the truth, the shattering reality, the horrible and tragic end that you and every other human being will come to. And so it's natural for a mind in that position to look for a different answer and instead think, well, if the metaphysical is possible, then perhaps it's this other thing, perhaps it's this simulation, and to go down that narrative and think about things in that way. But it's likely that neither we're in a simulation nor your consciousness is metaphysical. It's much more likely that everything has a physical and chemical explanation, and those sensations which we place so much emphasis on, our own reaction or personalization to those things we perceive in life, not least the charts, is actually just a selfish and self-serving natural mechanism to the way that our brains try to solve all sorts of problems. And the truth is that to actually investigate and study the cycle of nature and find the bottom to the questions that we ask of ourselves, you can spend an awful lot of time doing that sort of thing. You can, and you can think that you're on a never-ending quest, when the truth of the matter is that you and all human beings understand nothing in the world as well as you do your own consciousness. It's the first thing that greets you when you wake up. It colours every picture, it gives you every smell, and it decides with you each of your opinions. So, do you think we're living in a simulation? Do you really? It's a nice conversation. It makes for a good meme. But the truth is that life is hard. Understanding that it is what it is no easy task, and all the challenges you're presented with along the way can seem to be futile and meaningless within that understanding. But then you actually come to the realization that your life, not you, Harriet, or anyone in particular, but then yes, everyone, is no more important than anybody else's. And if you can dictate how somebody else's life goes, and that's positive, then you are an angel, and there is little more worth doing when it may well be that everything else is meaningless. So that's the quick GME story time for today and Friday, and we were looking at APT for D. Even though he spends most of his time on the bathroom, that must get very frustrating for everybody else in his house if he only has one toilet. So is this a downward sloping wedge, in which case it might break to the top? Is this a bull flag? It very much looks to be so. This is in a continued trend on the weekly time frame. It's tested to 200 and bounced up to the top of this wedge and gone straight to the 50 period moving average. If we drop down to the 2-day, you can still see that formation seems to be very true. If we're to measure this out as a Fibonacci retracement from the low here to our high here, you can see 236 proved to be the ultimate top. Once we came back after the retrace, we were in bouncing between the 618 and that area, drop below, out, wedge started to form, very interesting. Let's quickly see what that donation came in. Appreciate all your time, tea, and teachings. Have a nice weekend. You too can be. Hopefully your t-shirts will have arrived soon. I don't think they will have yet, but they will be on the way. JC Ismay donated $1.49 for your super chat. That sounds like a sticker, but I don't have chat up because it crashed, so I don't get to see it. JC Ismay donated $10 for your super chat. JC Ismay, you are a legend. Thank you very much. And I got to hear the notifications, which were quite pretty at the time of the sound. They were the nice ones. So even on the 2-day time frame, you're bouncing between the 50 and 200 period moving average. You've had that negative cross on the 2-day. That's not great. It means on the daily, you've also all well and truly had a test of it. Failed. The 2 came back to meet again. Well, price action took the low road. Following this path down here, interesting, bounce to the top here, interesting. This is not, I'm saying that, but it's not interesting. It's pretty much straightforward in textbook. You come down to the 618, you drop below the golden pocket, shaking a lot of people out, touch the bottom of this area, gone back up, touch the top of that wedge. This is a trader's market. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd expect to see this have a little bit more to go on it. In fact, now that we're here and we're on the daily time frame, let's stick on the Bollingers. Well, I don't think I've got too many indicators, mate. I think that's what you're just talking there is called out of your ass. Let's turn off that one, and then let's turn on the Dion Bollingers, because I want to look at this now that I've thought of it. Why are all your colors stupid? That is so stupid! We'll go with white, shall we? How about that? Is that a good enough colour for you, TradingView, you silly idiots? And why aren't you sponsoring this channel yet? Seriously, I could easily go and get sponsorship somewhere else, TradingView. Like, what you like, hey? Because I think you're a good company. So sponsor me, for God's sake. I'm out here doing this stuff. You know, plenty of people using this software because I'm showing the benefits of it. I could show the benefits of anything. TradingView, sponsor Tradespotting. I'm very cheap. I haven't got anyone sponsoring me at the minute because I just reject every possible offer that comes my way because I'm like, yeah, no, you're unethical. Go fuck yourself, and take joy in sending those emails to people that get in touch with me. So, you know, if you're thinking of doing the same and you run an unethical company, you'll get exactly the same response, you know, so don't even bother. But if, hello neighbours, but if you're TradingView, I'd take that idea on, yeah, I'd think about it, you know, obviously. So here we are, daily time frame, turn on the Bollinger Bands, tracing the top level of things. You tend to do that on this. On the daily time frame, you're not closing it without it though. Out with it. Touch 200 and you're opening above that there. Your stake is persisting above it significantly. Close this gap, that's interesting. It's also at the top of this area of this channel. Like the idea that this could go any further at the minute is like less of a trade here than there has been anything since the 12th. And let me move this over so I can actually see what date that is. I mean, there's less of a trade to be taken here since there has been since there was on the 14th. I love GIFs. Since there was on the 14th of July. Which you've made a great move, like obviously 100% on that. This is an easy thing to trade. How come no one told me about this before? This is super easy. That's a super easy trade. It's super easy. You had a divergence across your RSI. You had an obvious positive flip on the DMI. You had a real positive move from the ADX where the DI plus was turning up. You had a really good move off the back of it. It was all sustained for ages. How come no one told me about this? I would have traded this and made some money, you know. Then, you know, how come no one told me about this? D, probably, because he was too busy pooing, as usual. You know, you take your phone to the bathroom, D, you can use it too to text, and like you could drop me a message and you can say, yo, Jamie, check out this, looks good. You could have done that, D, you stingy git, yeah, always spending your time pooing out there. Anyway, this isn't a channel about poo, this is a channel about, well, it is when I'm talking about Robinhood, but I'm not really doing that very often. This is a channel about GME and requests. Turns out lots of things now. Right, 11.89. No, it's not, it's 12.03. How long's left today? 25 minutes. Well, I'll finish this, do the other one, and then we're on to GME again. And we look at Adam Marin's tweets effect on the price as well. I don't know what that means too much. You know, I'm a classical chartist and I believe in TA, and I do honestly truly believe that it's significantly better than fundamental analysis. I couldn't use fundamental analysis to pay my bills. I really couldn't, but I could tell you I use TA and have done for ages. So anyone who says that fundamental analysis is the be all and end all stupid, right? They're stupid. Even people who work in fundamental analysis won't tell you that. The biggest banks are the best jobs, they won't tell you that. My guy, how are you doing, mate? If you're more of a friend to me, Jamie, I would have. D! You back from pooing then, I see. Back from pooing, you took it with you and you threw it at me instead of flushing it down the loo. Well, that's a disgrace. Hey, Jones, I'll bug Jamie to get a link for you. What's this link for? What's this link? Hey, D. Harker, I'm extremely broke until next week when I get a big boy invoice in. Embarrassed days. What are we talking about, Link? Hey, Jones, why haven't you joined yet, you fanny? Yeah, tell me about it. Join Rocket Outcrops Discord. It's amazing. To get there, you go via his Patreon. It's incredibly good value, and I'm not even interested in selling it. It sells itself. It's freaking amazing. Miffit, Mega, Tilt It, thanks. Pooping and texting, multitasking at its finest. Just say Ismay knows the chat. You're a good egg. Sound, you're a good egg. The gesture, though, man. Dear girl, no, it was cool. I want to pay. Rocky deserves it. Yeah, you guys, eh? What a group of guys. Guys accounts for girls too nowadays, right? At least that's the way it has been since I worked in a pub and that. I was like, look, I'm just going to call girls guys. It makes it much easier when I'm speaking to a group of people. Guys. So if you don't like it, I just don't give a fuck, right? It's not, I really don't give a fuck anyway about anything that all that much, right? So, 12, 13. Why am I still saying the same numbers over and over again? Yeah, I think this has closed the gap and looks like a dodgy trade. You're at the top of this move. It's a downward sloping, it's a fallen wedge, right? So it's a bullish move. It is. It's just not filled up much of it yet, so it could still have a bit to go. And until such times as it does something above these sort of levels, and breaks at least this high up at 1980. 1980s, they were a great decade them there, 1980s, especially if you worked in an investment bank. Observe thyself, D. Harker dropping, not that I did, I was just born, D. Harker dropping knowledge and poo all at once. Yeah. I wasn't messaging you for 30 minutes or anything, you fanny. Well, how did you get through the blocked thing with that? Oh, it's because you remember, I wasn't messaging you for 30 minutes or anything, you fanny. I can't imagine you talking to me. Oh, you see me now, do you, Jimmy? That's excellent timing. Thank you so much. You're welcome, D. You're welcome. You weren't. Yeah, cool. You weren't messaging me for 30 minutes. Yeah, true. You weren't saying anything for ages. It was strange. But then, like we said, you were in the bathroom. Maybe it's something a little bit foosty. Who knows? Things happen. It's okay. Not going to share any of your secrets here. That's for sure. Don't worry about it. So you want to be you want to be starting something, huh? Open and closing above and Bollinger Bands there on this time frame. That's very positive. That's great and all, but this is very extended, and it's closed this gap, and and it's also like confluent with lots of different price action in around here, loads of different touches. And I'll just drop that line, and you can go back over here, and you'll see like, whoa, magic! Look, it happened to be the top of this one, and we drew it when we were off the screen because we were looking at this one and this drop and this test and this test, and then on all of this price action right through the middle of it. And these retests after that rise, and it's all dead obvious that this is probably a local high for this thing. It would be a continuation, a series of local highs that is put in since this move started. You have had a retrace to the 618. If this is a bull flag, you'd likely not see it go much further below there. It may well be that you take a touch to the basis line in the Bollinger Bands, but not on the daily time frame because it's like way down there. You've already moved out of that. You're above that in terms of support and resistance. I wouldn't likely to see this below 890 again, really. I'd like to see it test that at its lowest level and come back, trace the top of this area and break out. Then you might get a really good trade. Let's drop down to 15 minutes here and just have a little look at things and see how it's gone. Well, as you can see, there's a touch of bearish divergence across your indicators there. Your strength of trend is persisting, though it's weaker, but there's a positive slope on your ADX, which has come from the perfect signal. So that was a good trade. You got that. That's positive. It came when your RSI had broken above center line, hit the oversold, came back, reaccumulated, and then put in good move there. Positive, obvious trade. That's all very obvious, this up move there. And it closed the gap, as we could see before. So fantastic. It's just, why would it keep going? This is divergent, that's divergent. This is pointing down, but I don't trust that. Sure, a bit of a move off it. Nah, it's already just dropped to 1188. That'll be D, dropping the price, having dropped the number twos. Whoa, opening there, it's in that Bollinger Band again. That's not great. It's going to at least come down to 1155. It's already put in divergent high. Might get another touch of it, but I'm not banking on that. I'd expect to see this come in, test its previous lows in the bottom of the Bollinger Bands and the 50 period moving average on the 15 minutes at about 1074, and that's the sort of move you might expect to see before we catch up on the next time we look at this. I would expect that sort of thing to have happened. Otherwise, it's going to keep on going and burn off that divergence, which is great, but this is not along, not from here. If you were in previously, I'd also take profit, and I'd be looking at these sort of levels for a retest, at which point I'd be like, well, let's see, likely it does a bounce. It might not even get above like 1120, where these areas of lots of trade and previous peak here came in at. So, let's see. These are the levels, and if it breaks below them, it may retest them, and then we'll see, because you could easily get sub $10 on this, and it would still be a higher low. Is an uptrend overall. It's a very healthy uptrend. No, it isn't. It's a piece of shit. It's got this as divergence and the previous one. Nope, this has had 3 touches divergence. No, it's not very healthy. This is a very unhealthy move at the end of this. I also see it's a rising wedge on this, and that looks like a retrace of that. 200 would be normal. See, check the 200 on the daily. Yeah, it's gone up and it's done these things and it's done all that good news, and we are back here looking at how it was very positive. We're saying down here it's got very good positive divergence in that move, but it's divergent again. It's 200 period moving average there. I could see this coming back. Yes, I could see this coming back. Very much so. Very, very much so. 4 hour then. Yeah, I'd be looking at that. $9. Interested in what happens to this when it gets back to $9, which is where it's going. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I know. I know. I did it for years. I've done it for years, my friend. I've done it for years and years. Jimmy. Yes, it's 159 again. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. It is very much okay. 158 is really like where you're looking at your resistance for a number of reasons. Not just because of this previous low here on 4 hour, but if you go up to daily, you can see, as we talked about, it's also the low on daily. On 2-day, no. 2-day, it's a new low. New low. It's a new low. That's not how that song goes, is it? No, it is not. Get off favourite drawing panel, and there's nothing favourite about you. You've got, oh, maybe that's not so bad there. Bit of flux. There's a bit of question marks about that downtrend again there. Volume's not supporting anything, man. This is gonna have a move, and you know, if you're what's his face 2K21, you're gonna miss it. I can't imagine anyone would actually take this realistically think that this is a good idea to go short on this because of everything that we've talked about over the last couple of weeks. It's obviously at this area where it's just been bought for ages. Like, sure, you're negative, that's there, but that's, if it does turn around here, you've got divergence all over the shop. You know, and the 4 hour time frame. What did that 2-day say about this? Has it got that as well? I mean, let's check this out for a little bit longer, shall we? So the RSI is here. It's that decision time. It's that like what you would might say to D when he's like not texted you back. You might say it's time to piss or get off the pot. That's what it is for GME right now. The RSI says the people who've been buying it, this is your wake up call. If you scheduled one, this was it. You see, this is I mean, you don't need me to tell you, right? And you know you need experienced trading to look at that, draw in a line, and then look where it's touched it before and see what's happened, right? Ever since we had our this move, 35, 480 back again. Ever since on your 4-hour chart, despite the fact that it's gone below it at other areas, they haven't been the significant lows on price action. It's always been this one on this 4-hour at this area on the RSI that's always proved to be the one where you have the move. Here, as you can see, none of this was a move on price action. There, like that's your next significant low, and the RSI says it. Here, bit of consternation, but the second time it touched it, I mean, obviously you got a highly percentage. It was a move. The same people bought something, just not everybody. Here, again, that was that big move, and here we are back again. So there's that. If you care about that sort of thing. 15 minutes. This is interesting. What's the time now? Oh, we're in the last 10 minutes of price action. We're in the last 10 minutes, and I've not done a video for the busy apes, have I? Have I done a video for the busy apes? Not for ages this week. Let's make one. Hi, I'm Jamie from Tradespotting. I'm a very calm, relaxed trader with a completely sterile and non-emotional approach to trading, especially this asset GME, which I'll talk about now in a completely and utterly neutral perspective. So as you can see, 159 spot 94. This is TA for busy apes, by the way. I'm Jamie, nice to meet you. You'll be the person about to click the like button. Prices now are at for various reasons at an inflection point. We'll start on a 15-minute and cover them briefly so that you know what the picture is right now. We're coming in and testing our previous low that we put on the 16th of July, just a couple of weeks ago there, 15th, 16th, that period of time. That is also confluent with the lows we've put in on the 4-hour, as you can see here, on the daily time frame, as you can see here. It's not on the 2-day where we're putting in lower lows, but not all that low overall. And then if you are to stretch out the weekly time frame, and I'll go back otherwise and show you things in a minute, you can see that this is again also confluent with this area where we broke out on the weekly body close. That was where you were looking to price action to retest should we not get a higher high, which on the weekly we didn't. So there you go. Pardon me. Right, but back and down at the 15 minutes, talk about various things and go up again through the timelines. You can see that RSI's put in what looks to be an inverted head and shoulders, and at this point you could expect prices to continue with this, and it would be a reversal pattern on the RSI to say that perhaps we start breaking these previous highs that we put in here. Could we also break price actions highs, horizontals at around 172 at that point? That would be very positive. I'd be looking for that to happen at the start of next week. I mean, I say looking for it would be that's what I'll be doing. It would obviously not necessarily be there. I'd just be looking for it to do it. And we're back above 160. So on the 15 minutes, you can see there's possibly a continuation, a reversal pattern on the RSI, which would be positive. You can also see we bounce between these two lines. And what are these two lines? Well, let's go up the time frames. After quickly touching on the fact that there's lots of different ways of looking at recent price action. It's been a consistent downward trend, that's for sure, with lower highs and lower lows. At this previous low, we had a degree of bullish divergence here between these two lows and between the one we're currently on and this previous one that we used for that same decision. We're also putting in what looks to be like bullish divergence, but then it's in the context of a downtrend, so you'd need to see this then put in a higher high to look back on that and confirm it to have been as such, and even then you'd want to see other things along the way. So this is a 15-minute, and we go up at your channel, right, top of it's in around that 172 level as well. So nothing dramatic happens there, though it might feel like it if it goes quickly. And then we'll go back up the timelines here. Let's go first touch on the 30 minutes and say your negative trend, which has been in the ascendancy, is and starting to enter a period of flux while your ADX is staying strong. So if your DI net plus does turn up, that could be a good move. It is sloping down at the minute, so you can't say that's going to happen in the next 6 minutes, but that could be positive. Again, your RSI accumulating above the oversold zone, that's very positive. It doesn't look like that when it's about to break down, so I don't think this is going to break down. Obviously, I don't think that's very freaking obvious. Right, so go back up now at the 4 hour time frame. You can see now this formation is coming onto the chart, starting to make sense. The lower side of what might well be an ascending triangle. There's various levels you could test within this range, but the important levels are where we are at the minute in the top side up at $343, that sort of area. Especially if you go up to the weekly time frame, that's where you're really looking to open and close above. When you're referencing that top line, which at the minute is supply. When you're on the 4 hour, you can see again this idea of having tested this area of support. You can see that we had this this is where the negative trend really took over here at this part of the move. Your DMI told you that. Rocky's DMI told you that. We also had the sign of the volatility was coming in, so the range on the move might be considerable, and it was, and it also returned back again, so you got it twice, as you do, free money with this thing. Also, you can see on the 4 hour RSI, at this point where it's touched it here today, at its previous point in around, like, you know, between the 10th and 13th of April sort of time, and then again back around the 29th of October. These have been like the historical areas on the 4 hour time frame where you like to see this thing bounce. And even like the other moves within it have caught this recent part of the formation. So anywhere when the RSI is in and around 31, you've seen this previous bounce here before price action broke out, as you can see on RSI. Again here was the low within this part of the formation. Back before it, this low here at the bottom of this triangle. And then previous to that, also this part of that recovery on the drop from 400 odd. 480 odd bucks down, and then also like you want to go back further, you can see like even in around here and like previous to that, it's other lows. This is where it was touching it, and so I would like to think of this as a wake-up call to people who trade this on the weekly and above, or the 4 hour, and are looking for that kind of signal. It's also a test of also sort of significant things below the 200 and below the 50, and they've come in for a cross on the 4 hour. On the daily, you can see nowhere near that sort of a negative cross. You've got the 200 period long, quite a big distance below us. This is like consolidation, this period of time, with like slightly lower highs on some time frames. On the daily it's higher, on the 2 day and weekly it might be a little lower. And also you've got higher lows, lower highs. It's consolidation. It's happening up here at the multi-$100 level, give or take whatever. It's happening up here, nowhere near down there, and that overall is very positive. You would like to see price action move up here for a variety of reasons. It doesn't even have to break anything structurally in order to do that, but it would be within the natural oscillations of this thing for it to try up again, although it isn't screamingly loud that it wants to do that, with not very much being given to you positively on the DMI. Only historical factors deriving the thesis on your RSI, and your volume saying, well, nothing's changing here, this is not a break of the trend. And obviously you can see for yourself, like trend, it has not even been tested really, not on any significant sense, and it all still looks like a very healthy positive bullish move. This is what this chart looks like on the log chart. On the daily, you want to turn on to the weekly, and that, like, this is very bullish, right? So there's literally no reason to worry. And if you do feel like you need to reach inside yourself to get the motivation to keep going with things like this type of trade, just remember there's millions of other people that are all holding strong. While it might be worried over the weekend because you've not got any price action to look at and tell you what's happening, there's plenty you can learn, and it'll help you make money in the future. Also, everything's cool, man. Everything's totally cool. And so that's your TA for busy people on that front. Apparently Adam Aarons tweeted something on AMC that doesn't go well with the MOAS narrative, but that doesn't really change my mind with regards to the charts, which look like they could be like not bad at all, mate. 15 minutes here, zoom in and you can see touch of bullishness here. Yeah, sure, it's downtrend you're talking about, but actually it's like There's a higher low. This is a higher high, series of higher highs. It's still a higher low at the minute. This looks like it could be an inverted head and shoulders. The areas that are important within it is this 236. Recover that up again, 38.30 positive below it at the minute. Anything lower, you start wondering, like, where do we come in at? 35? Do we test down again to 33, or do you go right back to the low there and see, as we have done with GME, it touched the bottom of a sort of descending channel, hopefully put in some sort of bullish inflection, if that's just positive signs on RSI. You'd like to see that sort of thing. Could well go down there. That would be a big move to make it all the way down there, and you're not seeing anything jumping out at me to say it's going to happen now. If anything, it's the opposite. 15 minutes don't look too bad. The top side of this thing, you're coming in at obviously something around $40 there. You can open and close above that, as well as having recaptured a 236. That would be significant. And then you would be looking for a move up to the 0.5. That's like 46 sort of area. Test this previous high, this sort of inflection point here, which you can see when you look left. There's various reasons why it would be important, even in the 15-minute and 4-hour, even more so. And here you're starting to see something that looks like the weekly log chart on GME, and overall you're like, this is a very positive trend. Perhaps you could draw a line through this and say it's a good retest. There's your 200. It's a lagging, so that could constitute a test. 236, what you're looking at, 38, 34. You want to finish open and closing above there. Whether that be today, tomorrow, or some other day. 38, 34 you're looking for on AMC in the short term. Long term, I think it could easily go up to $100, and probably will, and like got nothing to do with whatever Adam Aaron tweets. Like, I'm a classical chartist. I believe the charts. I listen to the charts, and I base a lot of my life and bills around what the charts tell me, and I don't base any of it around what Adam Aaron says, whether it be on Twitter or if he was standing right in front of me. I literally wouldn't. I'd listen to this, and it tells me something else. And we went back to GME there, did we? Or were we always on GME? No, that was AMC, and now we're on the GMEs. AMC, GME. Right, so you're coming in for how long's left on this? Oh, 21. Markets have closed. 16112. I'd say that's positive. I'd say that's a good news considering what could have happened. 161. Spot 1, 2. Move up. There's the center of your basis line and your Bollinger Bands. That's perfectly okay. See, you got a positive turn here. This is coming in for a period of contraction. You're below your previous area of resistance. So we'll see, as this will lead to a further breakdown, which takes us to 151. Could well do. 158 is also a likely bounce though, which we have got close to once there. 158.80. So there, if you got that, that was the target we said. As far back as the Monday week ago, we said 58, 158, you'll see it. Rocky and I said this is our most important DD so far, and we said in that video, I don't know how many people heard it, but like I say, there's a difference between perception and sensation, and often people don't hear the full extent of what we say. And we said it for a reason, 158 on the weekly, and you got that touch today. So if you entered there, congratulations. If you've entered before, so did I. I also bought at prices higher than here, and I'm still very confident about my investment. Very, very confident. And I'm also enjoying immensely the journey with you guys, despite the fact that it goes on longer and takes turns and twists we might not have expected. So everything's looking good on GME. I know that clip maybe went on for slightly longer than it needed to, but I hope you have a good weekend. Thanks for tuning in to the Busy Ape section. Boom. There's that. If you hit like if you enjoyed that, because people that watch the Busy Ape section don't hit like. They also only watch like a couple of minutes of the video, and so that's important. Please hit like, because YouTube's algorithm's like, well, nobody likes it, so I'm not going to recommend it to their friends. Now it doesn't necessarily recommend it to your friends, but if you do hit like, YouTube thinks that was good, people liked it, and maybe it gets some more flow on YouTube, because at the minute 50% of my traffic comes from other places still. Well, just under that now, but still nothing significant from YouTube. They hate me over on the YouTubes. Right, post-market prices before we see anything on Monday. What would I like to see? Well, like these levels here above 167. Let's see it go up, flash up there. This was a positive move to the end of the day. You've got a touch of divergence. You've got a positive move there. Yeah, you've got enough of a positive reason there. Let's see exactly. So inverted head and shoulders, you're at the top of that. You want to break across that green line on the RSI. It is also in and around though. Now you will, you'll see it, and it'll go to the center line. It's about where their price action makes it above this downward, this upward sloping line here at the time. Is that the significant one? Let's just move it up there out of the way, and then you see that's actually 165. That part of the breakdown. That's where you're looking for prices to be Monday open. That would be good if they were up there at 165. If they're not, again, I could easily see prices coming in testing around 158. And I expect there'll be orders on the books there, so that would be see some congestion. If it breaks there at post market, I wouldn't really care. But Monday, I'd expect to see testing of 165, and at that point, I'll be probably live and hope to see you there. So that's that, and that's not this, and that's that other thing. What did I miss? What did I miss, folks? How many people are watching now? 300. Wow, awesome. Still amazing. Thanks. Felix subscribed. Thank you very much, Felix. Steve subscribed. Cheers, Steve. Mythic Mig Tilt with the 99 pence through the super chats. Thanks very much. So I think we covered everything. Had a good stream today, I think so. You let me, what do you think? My chat there again is crashed, so I can't read that one. This one's only super chats and subscriptions and stuff, so I can't read it on that one. Has this one got something? That's miles behind. Daniel, my GME entries are like me when I am on a date. I am trying for entries all the time. They're almost never timed well. Ha ha. Yes. Yes, this is because we are eager, aren't we? Eager beavers. We are eager beavers. Ding, 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 ding. But you always have to remember that despite like it being, a good huge chunk of your success depends upon your entry. Brum, 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 brum. The crucial deciding factor is your exit, and so much of that depends on your psychology. And I'm on a mission to make sure you've got the best psychology you can have, so that when you're out there carping them DMs, you can make the most of it, and when you're holding on to these things, you don't let anything affect you. And P.S. Robinhood is a piece of fucking shit. If there is an algorithm out there that can somehow pick up on my intense hatred and dislike for that absolutely worthless piece of crap, please hear me, algorithm. Robinhood is awful. Add that to your sentiments. We hate it. As for us, we do not like that stock. And there are lots of opportunities in GME. It's at lows. If you're able to handle a little bit of risk, which you're going to have to be if you ever want to get anywhere in life. As Daniel says, when I'm on a date, I'm always trying for entries. And, if you don't try for an entry, the girl you're on a date with or the boy is probably going to be like, what's this punk all about? They don't want anything. Like, they don't want it, see, it's slightly easier for Americans to get that idea, that understanding. Like, you're like not going to get anything unless you act. And that the actual frame, God bless America. Free markets for all, GME and physical silver for us. Oh, real physical silver? Yeah, me, don't mind if I do. I'll have lots of that all around my house, thank you very much, when I'm very, very rich and I don't care about money. And I'm very, 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 very never likely to be that person. He said there is no evidence of conjecture. That's the old crash. See, you go with Darren Aaron or something, or explain to him, my friend Selic, who I appreciate. Selic, thank you very much for the comment. And it crashed that chat box. Yup. Yeah, so you have to take risks, you have to make moves, you have to do things. In life, you want to get anywhere, you have to do it. And while it's super easy to say to people when it's at 131 and then it's going 140 and then it's at 150 and it's 160, and it's super easy to say, well, here's a retrace and there's your entry and it looks good and it is good and it all works out well and TA works. It's sometimes harder to say somebody, and I'm not saying it, and I never was then and I am now, this is a good entry. Sometimes harder, series of lower highs, you've got a negative formation there. You didn't expect this to happen. It's certainly against your idea of what's a good time, unless you're Daniel, and or similarly inclined. And you're looking at this and you're like, well, I've been with you since you were just a wee baby. I'm clearly not leaving you now when things are tough. Or you're thinking, hey, I've heard this is going to the moon. Looks pretty cheap at the minute, and either way, it seems like I'm here. I'm here for the long term with you guys. And those of you who persist, I will stay. I will always be here for you. Thanks for showing up for me. What is the chat then? I'm going to say hello, everybody. Hello, Jamie. Is the silver bullet of the Fed. Hi, Jamie is the silver bullet of the Fed. Yo. As speaking to Gary Glensler on Twitter, the conversation was very one-sided. I said follow for follow. No, I didn't. I didn't. Or did I? I may well have done. Later on, he started tweeting about GME and couldn't reference it directly, which I found to be like intriguing for all of like. I mean, well, I was interested in it quite deeply, but the deep depths of a cheesecake was how deep it took my interest, that perplexing decision. But then I said to him, hi Gary, this is the greatest story ever told. Please put in a little bit more effort. And I think that's a fair question to ask. I respect his intelligence and things he's done in his life very much so. I just think that he could put in more effort. It's very true. I don't think he would disagree with me on that front. I know you've got a nice family and you've got a nice life and you're entitled to enjoy it, but I don't want to hear about how much you enjoy cycling your bike. I don't care. I frankly don't care at all. In fact, I don't think you should be on bikes. You've got a busy job to do. You should hurry up. You should get in a car, or even then you should get in a train. I'm a big fan of trains. Maybe you should think about getting yourself a train so that you can do things faster, because you're really not working fast enough. And I know also that there's other things you've got to do. It's not just managing the bastards and that, and it's like helping them onto the chair stair or wherever it is you're going to put them, to take them down, teach them a lesson, Gary. But you're going to have to pull the finger out and work a little bit faster here, because the corruption, the crime, and the greed that you're going to be trying to put a plug in, it's like a tap, mate. It's a tap, and it's spewing all over the place. And when GME is below $343, that's a result of blatant corruption. It's an abuse of these tools that have been put here to help us. It's verging on an abuse of the freedoms that people are supposed to expect as Americans and citizens anywhere in the world. It's very, 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 very oppressive, this type of behavior from large liquidity providers. And to act like those are the people that need to be protected when a shattering change is coming anyway is very strange. As I say, these men are diseased, decrepit, and dying. And it is men. And they are old. And they are hiding behind a curtain. And it's a disgusting old mouldy shower curtain that they've had since university. In fact, it's been passed down to them through generation after generation. It's rank. It's covered in mildew and mold. And really, it should be wrapped around there. But isn't I as quickly rolled up and thrown off a bridge? Tradespotting, put me in the 158 Buyers Club. Nice one, Dink. Congratulations. I'll just take that down. Dink is 158. Thank you very much. So that's great. Yeah, I covered everything. I spoke to loads of people. Now, Dee did spend a lot of time on the toilet, and I'm pleased that you're feeling better now, Dee. Got lots of friendly messages from people, which is good, because throughout the week I've had loads of messages from people, loads of messages. I think my market value for one share of GME is, how many zeros is that? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's like, what is that, quadrillions? I think you're probably right in there, but there should be more 6s and 9s. There's some 6s, there's some 9s, but there's not enough 6s preceding them. So I think perhaps you could adjust that. But yeah, the ticker says you're wrong. Well, the ticker, it better not have said that when I was around. If it ever tells you it's not, I'll make sure. Wait a minute, is that the old chat? It is. That's ages and ages ago. I saved so much today, getting to buy a lot more at 160 today. What a great price. Thanks. Have a great weekend. King Noah, you got more at 160. You did well too. There are many of us. There are many of us. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Got lots of messages this week, and some people, and like, this is one thing that you find doing this, in this role. I speak to a lot of yous, and I appreciate all the conversations. I really do. But it's very, very there's like a hard part to this that's maybe not seen, and that's when I speak to you, you know, I'm an empathetic kind of person, and so if somebody talks to me and they're struggling for whatever reason, I empathize, you know, and like, this is in no way saying stop talking to me. I appreciate it, I enjoy it, and I'm here all ears for everybody, and especially friendly people like yourselves. But like, you empathize, and it takes like lots of your, like, there's a cost to that. And then I get equal or more messages from people who are celebrating things or happy with stuff, you know, like they found the channel, for example, or that they did certain things. You know, obviously in the last couple of months there haven't been fantastic reasons to celebrate GME entry points or additions, but I've taken them with you guys, you know, I very much have. And like, I can't associate with your success. Like, I don't get the same well, I'm happy for you. I don't feel like the same, I don't associate with your success. You know, even if you did exactly something that you thought I was doing, right? And I know it wasn't financial advice, but you might have done exactly what I was doing. You might have thought it worked out really well. It might have paid off really big, and you might have been super happy. And you might send me a message, and I'll be super happy for you. But that's your success, and I don't associate with it at all. It's your risk. You took that risk. You deserve all of that reward and all of the credit. 100% of it. It doesn't really matter why you made the decision. So you deserve all of the success, and it's irrelevant why you made the decision. The market don't care, and nobody you speak to will care either. They'll just be happy for you, or else they're a bastard and they won't be. But I don't associate with your success, and it really is true. Whereas if somebody's like, this is fucking shit and that, then I do associate, like, I think like, this is like something I could have helped with or prevented somehow, no matter how ridiculous that suggestion might seem. I still feel that way inside. Where else would I feel things? And yeah, so like, there's like that part of the job, and it's not that it's a job, and it's not that it's hard, but it's very different, and it is like it is unusual. It's an unusual thing that I didn't expect. So, but it's you also talk to each other, and I see these messages when you talk to each other here and the Discord and subreddits and other places online where people talk to each other, and not just this audience, but others and this audience as well, because I see yous everywhere on all the big channels, all the big things. I see yous everywhere when I'm watching. I see all yous, you know. I don't often talk because I don't want to ruin people's chat boxes with everyone saying hello to me and then piss off people's mods and whatnot. But trust me, you know, or don't, whatever, I'm there and often in the mod, and got positive thoughts for all of yous. Thanks for another week of great day. Hope you and Rocky have a good weekend. Thank you so much, Pratik Patel. You're so very kind. That's nice. Cheers, buddy. That's appreciated. And $10 too. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Thanks to all the support this week. You've been great, really. You've been amazing. People who've tuned in. Audience numbers up more, like 100 more people watching most live streams than were last week. So despite price action being down and stuff. So thanks so much. Thank you. GME 162.50. There's doing the price action we talked about in post market already. Thank you for everything, GME. NERV and MIVIS TA, please. Oh, sugar, I forgot to do MIVS. NERV. Somebody asked for NERV earlier and I didn't do it. Yes, I'll do NERV. It nearly disappeared. Besides the value you bring with TA, you provide your listeners with an abundance of wisdom to help everyone, especially your humility. Cheers, friend. Yeah, I know what you mean, RB trader, but you can't. King Noah, same. I guess we're dumb apes. Who in history has had the opportunity we've been given? I don't know, Joan of Arc. It's literally unprecedented and unrepeatable. True, she didn't get rich. Celebrate every day, relish our success. Oh, that's a nice message. Salamander, watched the beginning of yesterday's. I arrived late. Apologies for super pestering for AT. IP. You didn't. Well, your setup is what? Well, your setup was broken. I didn't realize. Have fun relaxing this weekend. Thanks again. Did I look at ATIP for you, man? Sorry, lady, sir, lady, salamander. Did I look at ATIP? I've got it on my chart. I guess I might have done. Bait Buckets, thanks for so much. Hope you have a nice week too. Bait Buckets, how you doing? Have a good weekend. Thank you for all you do, Moral Legend. If you have a chance, can you pay for peek at HSY? Okay, I've missed a couple of things it seems, so I'll start doing that now. Please stop donating so that I don't look at other things, because I am looking forward to a cup of tea. HSY and NERV and MIVS. I'll do them in the order, right? Thank you so much. Please don't donate anymore. If you want me to look at, donate all you like. Yeah, no, definitely don't. Yeah, sheesh. Didn't mean to say that. Definitely do if you want to. But 162.78. Go hit 165 and just make me look good. Just do it, eh? It's a Friday. Why not? But if you want me to look at anything other than what's been said already, I will not do it. I have to go and drink tea and say hello to people and eat something. But I will look at everything that people have donated and asked me to look at. And if I haven't seen something, tell me and I'll do it. If you've already donated, I don't want to let you down. I feel worse not doing it than doing it, definitely. So definitely tell me if I've missed something that you've especially if you've donated, definitely tell me. HSY. Let's start on that one and work our way back up. Oh, this is the chocolatiers. We have the chocolatiers, my friend. Oh, I could do with the bar of this. No, not really. It's got too much sugar in it and not enough cocoa. And why do you Americans make chocolate like that? I tasted a bit when I was there and I was like, this literally tastes like shit. What's going on with that? You want to be making your chocolate different. And why is there so much sugar in it? Like, that's not what chocolate's for. Anyway, I don't understand. You guys are just way different with your chocolate. Let's look at this. Let's look at this and get a picture of what's going on. Wow. Somebody likes the chocolate. This is what happens, eh? Like, a recession happens and for some reason everybody starts buying pizza and chocolate companies. And that sounds weird, but it's true. Look, it's super weird. Anyway, I mean, it's just Rocky Outcrops to indicator here. Look at what the money it's making you. Just to buy it, just to buy, sell it, buy it, sell it, buy it. It's like the crosses come in, the flashes go off, the crosses come in, the flashes go off, and the crosses go off. Flashes come in, crosses go off. Flashes come in, cross at the start of that one. All of them have been a cross, and always the move has gone the same way. There's your cross negative, prices went down. There's your cross positive, prices went up. There's your cross very positive, prices went up. There's your cross positive. At the start of that move, prices went up. Let's see it now. It's not as good. It is divergent. What the frick is everything divergent for today? It's like I'm... Right. It's not today though, this is the weekly, which makes it worse, you know, it makes it worse. Like, there's rank divergence on DMI. There's not rank, but like bad divergence on here. It may taste like Scottish shiz, but did you even try American shiz? Two very different flavour profiles in my experience. No, I didn't, Daniel. I didn't get round to that when I was there. I didn't get round to that. That was the year before I went on the international ass eating tour. That will come again. It's cyclical every 2 years, so I expect next summer I'll be doing that, working my way through American ass. Scottish candy. Buckfast baby. It's Friday night. So yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Would you look at GME? It's peaking. It's peaking. Would I look at it? Well, we'll go back to Hershey's in a second, but I shouldn't really be doing this. It's not peaking. What do you mean peaking? You're talking about after hours. Here. Have I got the after hours straight? Why is it not on? Why isn't it going on? Oh, because I'm on the wrong timeline. I'm on the wrong time frame. It's not going to show me on a weekly, is it, Jimmy, idiot? Does it even show me? It's on an intraday thing, so it probably doesn't even show me on the daily, does it? Nope, doesn't. Ugh, right. Okay. Stupid freaking charge. Only wanted to do one thing. There you are. There's this 664.38. Did it get to the 165 yet? I mean, I call price action, post-market price action better than I do actual price action at the minute. Well, I don't, not better. I didn't call it before, and probably if I did, it happened. And so anyway, whatever. Yeah, it's just doing what I said it was. No big deals. Well, this Hershey thing though. This is this chocolate you guys all like. What's that all about? It's you want to be getting yourself some iron brew bars, mate. It's way better. Anyway, you got up here into the Bollinger Bands again. This is a 4-hour time frame. That's a good recovery. The positive crossing DMI as it went through the 50 period moving average. Your ADX is like not doing anything, hasn't been doing anything this whole upward move. And you've had flux between the DI plus and DI negative, which each one of which has been covered the move, you know. So like I'll just go move my cursor as I'm actually tracing the, like your negative strength was increasing, okay, throughout this move, and you had deep retraces down. Then your positive strength was in charge, and your positive strength had big moves up, and that kept happening. And during that, your spikes were all to the top side, prices were all above the basis line. That was good. You dropped below the basis line, recovered it here, put in that sort of formation. That's like failure to recover here. It's a swing failure on the RSI. If it doesn't, no, it isn't. Not on that time frame. This doesn't look fantastic. It looks like the trend is like was dead here essentially, and then definitely in here, and then July started. This has all been like crap. It's all been crap moves. You're above the basis line, touched the top of the Bollinger Bands, but in that you're putting in a lower high. It's a 4-hour time frame. Don't expect it to go on. In the meantime, you had enough bearish divergence there. 2 touches, perhaps 3 if you include this as 2, but I wouldn't. This looks dodgy. Don't think it's got much on it. What would be the drop down? Where's your 200 period moving average on 4? And it's already tested that recently, so that doesn't speak too very highly for it. I'd say it probably comes in, does a move back down to the 618 on this thing, right? Hershey's is going to 176, but 20 cents is probably the price. That's not very far, Jamie. I know it is not, but it's really obvious. Let's see what it did in the terms of this extension, right? Because it's hit a number of them. Whoop, boop, 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 boop. Okay. This is just whoop up up bam bam bam. This is just doing one of these things. It's going to cost lots of people lots of money. Easy could come in there and test that level again. I'd expect it to, really, to be honest. Even take that down where it really actually is. It's in around there. At which point it'd be a 50% retrace on this move. That'd be Dow theory. This is what's happening. Hershey's is going to $158. At which point you'd want to look at it again, but that's what I think about it. Sure. There are other ways to look at it, but that's not the way I look at it. I look at the way I look at it, and the way I look at it says it's going to at least $158, probably $157.55, because that's the number I've got on the chart there, and it usually happens to be right. So what was that? That's something else I've looked at. Whoa. Flying through to D. That's not what I'm clicking on. This is what I'm clicking on. What was the other one? Chris Sweeney. No, I'm not bro bars, but wham bars. Not iron brew bars, but wham bars. Here's money for Rocky's pint. Cheers, Chris. Wham bars, aye. Wham bars are good. Yeah, they are. They're up there. Wham brew bars and wham bars. It's hard to distinguish between them. But I reckon you'll get there'll be slightly more salivating done with an iron brew bar in your gob. I think so. Though both are really bad for your teeth and you shouldn't eat either. It may taste like Scott. That's right, from Daniel. Haha. That was funny chat. Right, so I've got to get a t-shirt on that with the destinations for this ass eating tour, actually. Probably get that on the shop at some point. Which reminds me, Harriet did a very, very good t-shirt, which will be on the shop soon. When I get round to doing these things, it's going to be a busy weekend. It's going to be... Alright, what else have I got to do? I've got to do MVIS. I know that much. I remembered that one. Have I got it on my chart? I should have. Come on, Jimmy. Has to have it and have your drawings and everything. Nope. If I could just I'll do them alphabetically. That helps. I don't have MVIS here. For goodness sakes, Jamie. Mm-hmm. It's coming down, 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 but it's got some hidden bullish divergence. It's gonna bounce, but it looks dodgy. Boom, 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 boom. Look how bad the divergence has been on not just the DI plus, but also on the ADX. 1, 2, 3 rank touches of it on both of those parts of that indicator. Your RSI has been completely destroyed. You've come back and you've not even yet touched the 200 period moving average on the daily, having already put on what looks to be very close to a head and shoulders at the top of a trend with the perfect signature on RSI. This looks fucked. Why am I saying that about everything? Is it just my mood, or is this actually good TA? Because I feel like I'm saying the same thing about everything here, right? 840. It's like a stick on. Let's call it 980. Just like, let's call it that. Why would we call it that? Well, maybe this isn't accurate because there is that support and resistance there. Let's just get it accurate as we can and then go through the time frame. Bet up, shoot up. Right, yeah, so there's 200 period moving average on the daily time frame coming in at around $11.50, give or take a little bit, 11.50, but you've already had a test of that, and any significant test would actually involve touching the thing, but it's a lagging indicator, there's higher or low. You've got these areas over here on the left catching you, say they're catching you at 12.49, but they've not done much in terms of catching you. You just sort of put out a hand for you to rest on temporarily. You're looking down there, it's still a higher low at 11.28. It's pretty much obviously going to go at 11.28. I'm going to be surprised if it even gets back up to the centre line RSI, but if it does, it's got the 50 period moving average to keep a lid on it, and that comes in at 16.62. It's a big enough rise up there. It's a tradable move. It doesn't look like it's going to happen right now, and it's not something I'd go for, but it may well happen, at which point I wouldn't also take a long open and closing above there. I wouldn't either. It's put in 3 touches of divergence across those 2 indicators. To the strength of trend is dead on the upside. I don't think this is very positive, and whatever it's been trying to do up and around here hasn't worked. I'd see it testing 11.45. If it was up to me, it wouldn't even get in there. I'd probably look further down at around $8.50, and if it doesn't hold there, it's in for a real crap time over a series of drops. First area where you'd expect it to be caught is 484 getting beat. They're very, very unlikely it'll go down below there, especially if I've had another chance to look at things. 4-hour support and resistance, there was a touch of bullishness there, not enough to even get it above the 50 period before the day closed. It's maybe got a little bit more on it, but I wouldn't think so. This is properly bad. Went from here to the daily to check if there was a count death cross coming up, but not yet. And right, what was I saying about this? It looks bearish. It's got a bearish top here. That's not bearish between there. No, what was I saying that was? These other ones are, though. Horribly. Looks bearish. Looks bearish to me. 824. don't think it's going to 16 yet. Don't think so. Let's go up and just double check something. It's done such a very positive move. It's done everything that could possibly be expected of it, and then a little bit more. It did well. Most of that moves over. You're looking for reaccumulation. Does it put in some sort of pennant and stick above the 236? Possibly. Could it be a flag? Maybe. Do I expect it to collapse? No. There's plenty of places that'll catch it that we talked about. And definitely have time to look at it when that happens. I don't think the bottom's going to fall out of this for sure. It doesn't look like it's rolling over yet, but could well come in to test these levels. That I agree with you. 867 probably a good trade. That's where I'd like to look at this. I'd probably quite strongly think about entering this at that point. I'd look at other indicators. I'd see if this cross turned out to be positive, or it looked like it was going to probably come through. There'll be a kiss, it'll drop, and then maybe it crosses. May well go up from here. You know, you've got a touch of bullishness at the bottom of this. On the 4 hour, maybe. 15 minutes, it says an inverted head and shoulders, perhaps. It's just you've got that negative cross coming through. Having tested it once and failed here. That's failed again. Prices below it, not good. You really need them back above $14 again, and they're not there, and they could have been. So that tells me it's not great. It's not great yet. It's certainly not something to jump in yet. And then, what else did I miss here? HSY we did. And before there was, oh my god, Salamander 20 Canadian, thank you very much. Well, that was watch the beginning of yesterday was when you were saying this. I arrived late, apologies for super pestering. You're not super pestering at all, never at all, you never are. None of yous are. Never feel that way. Have a fun and relaxing weekend, thanks again. Okay, that wasn't asking me for anything though. What was? Somebody asked me to do stuff and I'm sure I've not done it. Have I missed something, guys? What have I missed? Nerve. Ha! That was close. Minivera Neurosciences Inks. This the one? Is this the one? Before I start getting started, it is. I know it is. I know it is. Of course it is. I knew it was as soon as that came up. Right. Fucking. Holy shit. What does that message say? Someone said it's important to act, trying to solve the treasure hunt and wondering if Coco likes gardening because of the seeds, as in seed phrases. Says Die Another Dave. There are plenty of seed phrases. That is not why Coco likes the gardening. And fair play, keep going. Die Another Dave, keep going. Don't donate $5 to me, Die Another Dave. How dare you? How dare you? I can't give you a full answer. I can tell you that there are other questions that have been asked, not in the recent past, because the questions I've been getting have died down a little bit, which were much warmer. Though there is something in what you said. That's all I'll say. Right, so 184. 184. We're looking at this thing. It's at 184. Not all that long ago, it was a lot higher. On a weekly chart here, what has happened to these poor people? Minivera, what's happened to them? I've heard this a lot recently. Sorry I focused too much on GME to remember all the other information. That's obviously what would have happened. Yes, I understand. You got to get across and the DMI flash and the negative move, and you're making money with that indicator. I can't stress it enough. Look at that, eh? Like, ow. Ow. Wow. Fucking hell. Right, you're at the 1414. You made it there previously. You're testing it again at this point. You don't have any particular buy signal in the RSI. You have got the potential for worse news on the DMI. You don't have a large volume spike. You did have it here at this previous top. That was because it was divergent and it's a downtrend, so that was continuation. Here you're coming in at the bottom and you've not burnt that off yet. In fact, it looks like it's maybe either here is a good entry, which I'd be a little bit weary of, to put it lightly, and you've not really got very good entries in terms of risk management. Yeah, and probably post-market it either dies or it's a good buy. If it is a good buy, and it looks like it might actually be, right? It looks like it might actually be a cheeky buy. You'd have to manage your risk though. Fortunately, there is a tiny little area to do it on. Take it 182. This way you could do this sort of trade where you're like, well, I'll take a 182 entry, I'll take a 2% stop loss because there's not a horizontal support and resistance to go on. You might not want to take the 182 because when you look at it on the, we did a Fibonacci and now it's disappeared. Excuse me, Fibonacci's. There it is, yeah, sorry. Because you're also the 1618 target down there at 137, so maybe you want to look at that, and in which case you might get two chances at doing this, right? Right now, 2% stop loss, or right there, 2% stop loss. Other than that, you're not getting much to go on. And that's the extension from the previous low to high on the center of this thing's trading, like lifetime. So there's two entries on it there and down below. Obviously it could be anywhere in here that it turns around and stops, and your 2% stop is just an idea and people might chase it, in which case you'd lose it, so you want to maybe think about it, but it's an option, and this isn't financial advice obviously. And then what would you be looking at? Well, within this there's a couple of places, but this would be the place to enter. But within it there's recover 232. Now that's quite a percentage wise, that's quite a healthy move already. It's just the bottom of this formation it might be worth doing. If you take an entry here, then you can manage your risk by taking something off the table there, but keeping most of it or a big chunk of it, and have a stop loss maybe then where the 50 period moving average is on 4 hour time frame, which comes in at around 184, in which case you'll finish the whole thing in profit, that whole trade. It's 184 at the minute though. No, that's higher. That's 212. So yeah, you might look at that, open a trade now, close some of it at 222, open and then have your stop following you up to 212. Look at that, open and close above a 236 will take you all the way up to 327, and that's still not breaking structure. I wouldn't take it the whole way there because it seems as though there's some sort of downward sloping diagonal on that. This could well end up being a channel, as we've seen with lots of different things recently. It would make sense. At which point maybe your 2% stop loss isn't enough. You know, maybe you need it down at, or it would be, maybe not. No, need it down. Maybe your entry actually like a cheekier entry or a further away stop loss. But at which point you're then close to this entry and you're losing a lot on your trade at that point. So maybe it's now with a really tight stop loss, or it could be meeting the downward side of this channel. That might happen after a bounce, fail at the 236, fail at 229 and come down again, and then you get in at 130s. After which point there might be a really good trade, and that really good trade would be just start off, take profit up. If you got it, you take profit at the 227 area, 2.27, then you would take a huge more off the table at 321, and you'd probably expect to encounter some resistance at the bottom of that gap around 453. There is the huge gap. There's the 618 beyond there. It could get to there. And if it opens and closes above that, it's just going to go up and fill the rest of that gap, go back to the 236 and the previous one, then go on again. And I'd take profit here, closing that gap, meeting that previous high on the left. And that's like you're not to expect more than that from this. Why is the stop loss thing like that? Like, it's just so boom 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 boom. Yeah, so if we go onto a bigger time frame, so you can see, like, sure, that seems dramatic, and you're talking about huge moves and whatnot, but this thing is dramatic. Yes, it's dramatic. It's a dramatic kind of thing. Obviously, I wouldn't hold everything on it there. I'd take huge amounts off it really in the first moves, and then I'd look for reconfirmations of trend, and then I'd start doing stuff. But that's all speaking in the face of a hugely bearish move. So we'll see, you know. But like, you don't get anywhere without taking any risk, and there's a possible one there. So that's some of those things. So I think I've covered everything everyone asked for now. Certainly hope to goodness I have, because I'm about to keel over with exhaustion. How is everybody? Has the stream worked out? How many people watched and stuff? An error occurred. Please try again later. Does that mean it's not going? Does that mean this stream isn't working? Tell me that hasn't happened. Tell me it's still working. It says here on my screen that an error's occurred. Are people still there? Sandman. Ah, someone heard me singing Sandman, so it must be working. Say someone, and it was UH. So it must be still be working, or at least it was until I sang that. But I've sang that lots. When was that? Dino, Dave, Roger, that bing bong. I am new to trading, but that definitely isn't an ass-ending triangle. What were we looking at there? This one. Are we talking about? Listen to the whole thing today. Thanks, Jamie. Vic Vince, we hear you. Okay, great. Because YouTube's telling me it's broken. Playback error or something. Great. Okay. Why would that be happening to me? I'm not playing it. Yeah. No. What? This is not an ascending triangle. No. What are we talking about? This? No. This is a rectangle. Commonly a rectangle. Like Rocky was talking about these earlier, and I laughed because the way he was describing it. You get within rectangles, you get things like double tops, triple tops, and you had both of those here. That was their double, and to close this one, just triple, and that's an awful topic. It's a real obvious topic formation, and that came in there. Right, there was obviously something else going on. Right? There was some news catalyst for this to be so dramatic, but I could have also told you, like with the resistance here. I mean, I could have also told you dodgy as, right? Dodgy. Plus the fact that that divergence is brutal. Yep. So why are we looking at that? We already looked at this. You're looking for a recovery on it. I don't know if you're going to get all of that, right? Like, to leave that on there just because whatever, right? That's not. I'm not living or dying by this top target. I'm saying you can get something off it at 236 and 618, and those prices come in at 2.27 and then up again at 3.33 or something, and around those levels. And that again would be very ambitious, optimistic, because you're going to have to break through the top of this downward sloping channel to open and close above the 236 and whatnot and go on. So I'd manage it with a stop loss that I'd move to follow prices up, and I'd probably take it to 212 if prices did get up at the 236. As I say, that's at 2.27. So that's that. is that, my friends? My friendly friendlies. So where did we get to on this post-market in the end? What was the top? 164 something. We never got the whole 165, did we? Bum 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 bum. Oh, 164.30. We never got it, but it was not bad, eh? Not bad. There or thereabouts. Close enough is near enough, and near enough is close enough, and close enough and near enough are both good enough for me. So, thank you. I'll miss yous over the weekend, and when I'm not on during the week, I miss yous too. So thanks. You're good. Feisty Goats says to somebody. Where are you? Oh, it's me. Thanks. Bob Crutchet here. Okay, excellent. All's working. Everyone was good. Tradespotting, thank you. You're great tea. I'm going for the cheeky trade on this one. I appreciate your valuable time. Haha, cool. You're welcome, Corpus Colossum. Colosseum. You're welcome, my friend. Duo, how you going? Bobby Han. Haven't read your own name in a while, Bobby. Hope you're doing well. I dropped again. Surprise, surprise. Listen to Rockies twice and half of Ronaldo's last stream. Whoa. Still here. Cool. Yeah, you got that tea. Nice. Nice. Made my day. I didn't make anybody's day. You guys made my days. Bring me a dream. Ha, yeah. They have earnings on August the 2nd. Usually earnings are a big day for Nerve. August the 2nd, huh? That's not very long away. My mouse is over the August the 2nd. Whoa. Well, somebody's got in there on the DMEs at 158, and then it went up to 164, and that looks good, and I hope you are happy with that, because I saw you talking about it in chat, and then it went up there, and, you know, do you have to enjoy these moments? Especially if you're going to feel annoyed at these moments. It's not like you're selling it anyway, so you might as well feel happy. So, I mean, cool. And I know what I mean. I don't need to say have good weekends all. Have a great weekend, everybody. And why did my YouTube thing stop working like that? I was real crap doing that, saying that. Now I can't see any of those things. Screw you, YouTube, with so much of the crap you put me through here. And I wanted to run the credits to say thanks to people, because I can't check anything else anywhere else now because of that break. Where is it? I gotcha, credios. Where are you? Your credios? Credibilios. This element is too small to be displayed. Ha, that's what she said. Isn't it, folks? And now what she said. Credits. The credits in a book. What? I really am tired. Credits. There they are, and I can roll the credits. I'll see the banner on the right now. It's a little bit messed up. I don't know, that jar looks empty, but I'm sure that I know people donated, so I don't know why it looks empty. Maybe I can't see anything. It is very, very small. Banner's a little bit of a mess. I will make that better. If I was like, if I had any, if anybody out there, and I know some of you are, but I don't, you are busy and don't want to cramp your workload. But if you've got motion design skills, I'd love to have a banner on the right hand side there that like did the stuff I wanted it to. You know, it's like, doesn't have to say everything I'm covering all the time. It could flick through the different things I'm covering, and the logo could come and go, and all these things on the bottom could come up like tickers and whatnot, and then that could be like a saved GIF that I just played, and it would be better for everybody if I could do that. And I could include on this not financial advice, treasure hunt and everything, but there's just too much information to put on it without it getting all cramped and that. So if you're like that, great. And in the crazy ass dreamland scenario, you'd be amazing at graphic design, cinema, 4D, 3D modeling and everything else, and you'd be able to make my logo look like a syringe that was sucking the negativity out of a candlestick and filling itself up. As you can see, it looks like a cross and a syringe. And it would also looks like it's got the S around it, like the do no harm, the serpents that oath that doctors take, which is all goes together as part of my branding. Anyway, if you could use that syringe to suck some of the negative candlesticks up inside itself, and then it all changes to green inside the syringe, and then squirt it back out again as it goes back into my logo and fills up a green candle. If you could do that, I will marry you. I will marry you. So there's that. And if anybody ever does that, I'll marry you. It's true. said it there on the internet, so it must be true. Good idea. Yes, it is a great idea, and I want it to look spiffing, like so good that people are like, is that a real syringe? Is it really doing that? How does it do that? You know those like the Nike adverts where the people are so good at it, or like those adverts of like a Tag Heuer watch and it looks like a real watch, and then all of a sudden it just explodes in all of its constituent parts. So those people that make that stuff are amazing at doing things. So you do that? You doing that? Because if so, you're my new husband or wife, whichever it happens to be. Price is wrong. You're right, Corey. Did I look at everything you wanted me to, Corey? You mentioned a couple of things. Nerve and MVIS, I think it was, though. So I've got everything. I'm going to go now before anybody says anything to me, because if I don't... No, I'm going to run the credits. That's what I was going to do. Yes, credits. Run those credits, Jimmy. Jamison. Where's Kevinson at? Roll them credits. These roll in, roll in, roll in. Thank you for supporting this stream and liking and watching and watch time. And if you're not liked yet, please do. And if you're watching along later, please like too. Word is life. D. Harker, Chris Sweeney, I'm Not a Cat, Daniel Assange, Leptin Inc., 8 Poddle, Shambling Shade, Dan Wildo, Corpus Colossum, JC Ismay, Space Monkey, Kim Robbins, Kind B, Mifa Migalita, Natural Friend, King Noah, Pritik Patel, Corey Burke, Janine W, Sally Mander, Bait Buckets, Die Another Dave. Amazing! So much support! Pseudofish Waffle, Brian Yang, Shane Austin, Jalin, Eric B, Steve Burnley, Felix, Adelpha, Lil, Richard, Orla, Garlanto, and Pedro, Lara, and Hero. Got all those wrong. Wow, what an amazing day. I didn't get to see everything and don't know what it was all adds up to, so everything's crashed and up, but that is so much support. So surprised, actually. That's amazing. What an amazing end of the week. Thank you so much. God, I love you guys. I'm going to get emotional again. Thanks so much. See you in the Discord, on the subreddit, it's Rocky's Discord, in the subreddit /Tradespotting, on Twitter _Jamie_Curran, on Instagram at King Jamie the First, and you know, who knows, out and about. You're all great. Thank you so much. Best wishes, everybody. Love you all. Thanks.